After the West Coast swing where the Rangers bent but did not break, another showdown with the A's upon us. So now it's the Rangers' turn to make full use of their home field advantage, which has been considerable. 4 games between the 2 top dogs of the West from Ameriquest Field in Arlington. The warm-up is home, and it's now brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. It is especially good to be home to take on these Oakland A's. The trip out west didn't go quite as well as the Rangers hoped, but as you can see by the positioning of the flags, the Rangers are still in first place for now, albeit by only half a game. Along with Tom Grieve, I'm Josh Lewin, and welcome to Ranger Baseball here at Ameriquest Field in Arlington. Huge series, Tom. I mean, 99 games into the season. It's wonderful to see the Rangers in first place, but it's a very tenuous hold on first place right now.
Well, it's about as even as it gets. There's no doubt about that. The Rangers have a half-game lead. The A's come into this series hot. They've won 5 in a row. The Rangers come in cold. They've lost 4 out of 5. However, the Rangers have played very well at home. They've won 10 out of their last 13. The A's have played poorly on the road. They've lost 20 of their last 27. So will a hot team start playing better on the road, or a cool team continue to play very well at home? We'll see.
The A's got in about 8 hours before the Rangers did last night. Texas finishing up 2-4 on that West Coast road trip, and they're not hitting a lot at all. Hopefully they can find the bats in support of R.A. Dickey, who is on the mound when we come back. Rangers warm-up has been brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Texas Ranger Baseball brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas, and by Southwest Airlines. Over 2,800 nonstop daily flights to 60 destinations all across the country. So as you all know, it has not exactly been a typical North Texas summer. Only 1 triple-digit reading on the thermometer all summer, and the Rangers were on the road when that happened. They come back home, the temperature about 83 degrees, I guess, right now, Tom, and we had a little bit of a cooling rain pass through here about an hour ago. The Rangers got in about 4:30 this morning from Anaheim, where they dropped 2 out of 3, and let's face it, they are not hitting the ball well right now at all.
Well, hopefully they won't see the same kind of pitching that they saw on that road trip, especially the last 2 games between Bartolo Colon and John Lackey. If they see that kind of pitching, they're not going to hit very well, because nobody hits the kind of pitching they saw the last 2 days when they were shut out both times. That was a lot more having to do with the pitching than it was the Ranger hitters. So we'll see if they're more accustomed, feeling good playing back home in a ballpark they have played very well in all season long.
What's very odd about that Anaheim series, the Rangers, the big question obviously was the pitching. Well, the pitching, a 1.44 earned run average in that series, no home runs allowed. But because the Rangers over the last 2 games have combined for only 4 hits, indeed the Rangers have slipped to 56 and 43, just a half a game ahead of the Oakland Athletics. And like you said, Tom, the A's playing some good ball right now. They have won 5 straight, while the Rangers have dropped 4 of their last 5.
And I'm sure the A's have to be very happy to come into our ballpark and not have it be 102 degrees. They're used to playing in cool weather in Oakland, and I'm sure coming in and facing a day like this is a pleasant surprise for them.
Mark Kotsay was Mr. Everything in that 3-game series on this most recent road trip. Check out the Southwest Airlines starting lineup for Oakland. Part of Kotsay's July was going 8 for 11 against the Rangers. You got McLemore, Chavez, and Dye, Hatterberg, Durazo, and Crosby, then Burns and Melhuse against the 29-year-old right-hander Robert Allen Dickey. R.A. Dickey, 5-7, ERA of about 5 3/4. And Tommy has not pitched well against the Oakland A's.
No, he is not. And we're going to look at the scouting report. He needs to get off to a good start. The opponent's a .370 average the first time through the lineup. That results in a 7.14 ERA in the first 3 innings. It's important for R.A. to get off to a good start. His last start, he lost to the A's 5 1/3. He gave up 4 earned runs in that ball game through 98 pitches. Didn't pitch badly in that game. I think the key for R.A. is what he does in the first 3 innings in this ball game. Get off to a good start. And that means getting Mark Kotsay out.
Yeah, our Chevy game within the game. Mark Kotsay and also Jermaine Dye, two guys who have crushed R.A. Dickey.
Well, R.A. Dickey has had trouble against Oakland, as the record would indicate, and two of the main reasons have been Dye and Kotsay. So the game within the game is not only if R.A. can improve his performance against Oakland, but to do it, how well he can pitch against Jermaine Dye and Mark Kotsay. We'll see. Gets a chance right off the bat to find out.
4-game series begins with a foul ball. The Rangers and the Oakland A's at Ameriquest Field in Arlington. Thank you for joining us tonight. Mark Kotsay and Mark McLemore, the first two coming up. And the A's with that 5-game winning streak, Tom. Kotsay, as we mentioned, has been a huge part of that.
Well, Kotsay just showed an incredible ability to foul off tough pitches in Oakland. Just like that. You make a good pitch right in on the fist, and instead of hitting a weak fair ball, he hits a weak foul ball. He just fights the ball off, and then when he gets a ball he can handle, he drives it. And he's just in an incredible streak. And he said he hit 394 in July. He's hit 394 for his last 213 at-bats. That's probably a 2-month period. When you go 84 for 213, then you're basically hitting close to 400 for a little over a third of the season. And he's been a big reason why the A's have shown a resurgence. He's been a catalyst for their offense. They've got other guys that have done a good job, but he gets it started.
He's been a National Leaguer in his career until this year, the Marlins and the Padres. There's what you're talking about. Another ball just kind of flicks back and out of play.
And another pitch that R.A. threw right where he wanted it, up and in. Hard pitch to handle. They didn't have to handle it. He just keep fouling it off like that.
That's why facing the A's can be a maddening exercise. They got a lot of guys that can do exactly this. Work the count. And even if you get them out in the first inning, you look up there might be a 26 or 27 on the scoreboard for the pitch count. Tapped along to first base, Mark Teixeira leading Dickey to the bag, 1 down.
They made a good pitch to get Kotsay. Threw him several fastballs up and in, and then got him with a changeup down out of the strike zone. Kotsay was only able to tap it toward first base.
Defensively, the Rangers supporting R.A. Dickey with DeLucci, Nix, and Matthews out there in the outfield. We've talked very glowingly all year about everybody who's gone out to play some ball in the Ranger outfield, going and making terrific plays at some point. And if all you had as a snapshot of this year was this most recent road trip, Tom, that would be just fine. DeLucci, Nix, and Matthews, they all sparkled.
Yeah, except you'd miss EY. I don't want to miss EY. Some of those plays he's made out in left field for us.
Kevin Mensch, too.
Kevin Mensch in right field has made some great plays. And everybody has.
Well, and Eric Young, this is certainly something that you notice right off the bat here tonight, playing second base. Rangers with an all-Young at middle infield. Michael Young at short, Eric Young at second. Soriano's in the lineup, but he is DHing. Kind of a half a day off.
And it's good to see Michael Young in the lineup. Bent his glove hand back in the ball game yesterday and was in some degree of pain. He kind of shook it off like it was nothing, and he's in the lineup today, and hopefully it is nothing.
In fact, Mike was really stunned and embarrassed that the TV audience knew what was up. He thought he had kind of game-faced it, and that, you know, he figured nobody would ever know that I was in pain. McLemore slugs one to right field. He doesn't do that a lot, but he has done it now. Mark McLemore's first home run as an Oakland Athletic. The former Ranger buries it into the right field seats, and the A's take the lead.
Well, R.A. got that same pitch in on Kotsay a couple of times, and Kotsay fouled it off. He got that pitch to McLemore up and in, and Mac just turned on it, got the good part of the bat, and drove it out of the ballpark. Not Mac's game, but he's capable of doing this. That ball probably a little higher than Rod Barajas wanted it, and maybe caught a little bit too much of the plate.
And now on the very next pitch, Eric Chavez hits one out. It is 2-0 A's. And after that very well done at bat with Mark Kotsay, back-to-back pitches are hammered out of here by McLemore and Chavez. It was number 1 for McLemore, but it's number 18 for Chavez. And the Oakland A's lead 2-0.
Well, Eric Chavez, when we were in Oakland, made the comment that the hand that put him on the disabled list is still sore and he can't really turn on the ball. And all we've seen is him do is hit the ball out of the ballpark to left field in Oakland, to right field today. His on-base percentage since he came off the disabled list is over 50%. So he's playing as well as he's ever played. If he's in pain, it's working for him.
Boy, isn't this a kick in the teeth? The two guys we talked about, Tom, in the Chevy game within the game. You got to neutralize Kotze, you got to neutralize Dye. Really no big issues getting either one of them, but the two guys we didn't talk about, McLemore and Chavez, hit home runs.
Yep, that's the way it's been.
And for McLemore, by the way, Tom, that is just his 52nd career big league home run in about 6,100 at bats. Check swing foul by Hatteberg. Here's the Chavez home run, and yeah, that ball just up around the number 3, and out it went.
I think each home run ball was higher than RA wanted to throw it. You could tell by looking at where Rod had his catcher's mitt. There's a time where he did hit it. Got it down where he wanted it. Missed the strike zone, but kept it away from the power zone for the hitter.
Hatteberg, the toughest guy in the league to strike out. Once every 15.5 at bats.
What did he say? He swings and misses 7% of the time, something like that.
Yeah, when he swings, most time he's making contact. He does here. Hits a towering pop-up. Blaylock and Barajas both there. It's Barajas that'll make the catch. And the inning ends with a couple of solo home runs on back-to-back pitchers that made it 2-0 Athletics. Well, the Rangers find themselves behind 2-0 here in the first inning. Let's see what they can do against the right-hander Kirk Saarloos, Michael Young, Hank Blaylock, and Alfonso Soriano to get it going. On a Thursday night at Ameriquest Field in Arlington, again, the Rangers have a slim half-game lead on these Oakland A's in the West. Game number 100 of 162 to be played this regular season. No question the Rangers collectively tag are slumping like they have not slumped this year right now. Only 4 hits total in their last 2 games. They were 1 hit and then they were 3 hit, meaning they are 4 for their last 59 at bats. And Mike Young has 2 of those 4 hits. After Mike Young, it's going to be, as we said, Blaylock and Soriano the rest of the way. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Teixeira, and look where Gary Matthews Jr. is sitting. All the way up to 5th in the order. Eric Young, David DeLucci, Rod Barajas, Lance Nix. Saarloos is down too low. He's 2-1, by the way. ERA is very good, 2.86. Since coming up from AAA Sacramento.
Saarloos features basically a good sinker and a good changeup. Occasionally he'll throw a breaking ball, but pretty much he can throw his sinker or his changeup anytime in the count, and he does. We'll look at the scouting report for Saarloos. Sinker slider pitcher, not overpowering. What the hitters need to do, you have to make him get the ball up above the knees. You can't play into his game by swinging at the sinker and the changeup down and out of the strike zone. In the past, he's struggled in this ballpark. His ERA is over 11 in 3 career games in this ballpark. The key for him is pretty obvious. Keep the ball down, make it sink, and get a lot of ground balls.
Young with a smash, and that's a great way to start. Couple things there. Good to see that apparently the wrist is not an issue because he cranked that ball in the left center field, but also with the Rangers already behind 2-0. Blaylock's coming up as a tying run.
And that's a sinker that was above the knees. That's a good pitch to hit. Had some sinking action on it, so you still have to use some hand-eye coordination. But at least if you make contact, you have a chance to drive the ball instead of just beat it into the ground.
All year, the Rangers have been pounding the ball here at home. And now that they are home again, that is hopefully the tonic for what's been ailing them. Hank Blaylock on this road trip, Tom, was just 2 for 21. And actually 0 for his last 17. Highly unusual for any Ranger team, I guess, to get into a slump like this, where it just seems to consume almost everybody in the order. But I mean, especially this year with the team leading the major leagues in slugging percentage. As we talked about yesterday, the good news is you figure they're due to bust out and bust out large. Right now they're in a 22-inning scoreless streak. That's tied for the longest drought they've had since 1992. Blaylock out in front. 1 down, first inning.
Sarlos has a nice delivery to throw the changeup with. He makes it look just like his sinker. His sinker is about 87 miles an hour. His changeup is around 80. And when you combine the deception, the delivery with that kind of movement and that kind of location, that's what you end up with, a swing and a miss. And it's easy for us to look up here and say that ball wasn't in the strike zone. The key is to take it. It's another thing to be able to go in the batter's box and be able to do that. Sarlos pitched a good game against the Rangers. He won 6-2 in Oakland, 5 innings, only gave up 3 hits. He did walk 5 guys, and he was in trouble a couple of times, but he was able to pitch out of it.
Yeah, the Rangers aching for that big hit with runners in scoring position, really that entire road trip. That's another one of those stats that just jumps out at you now that the Rangers have gone into this collective batting slump. 3 for their last 35 with runners in scoring position. And again, a roster that's littered with guys that have a history of coming through in that situation. On the inside corner, says Hunter Wendelstedt. He's your home plate umpire. This is the umpiring crew, Tom, that had to break up that brawl between the Yankees and the Red Sox when Jason Varitek and A-Rod got at it. Those suspensions, by the way, were handed down today. Varitek and A-Rod each getting 4 games. Soriano spanks it to right field. There it goes. Out of here to tie it up.
Well, that is such a huge home run for the Rangers. You lose 4 out of 5. You're having trouble scoring runs. You come home. The A's jump up 2-0 with a couple of home runs. And bang, first inning, Soriano gets the momentum right back to the Rangers with a game-tying home run. Boy, I think that allows the whole bench to just heave a sigh of relief like, good, we're back. We're going to be able to swing the bats tonight, and watch where this pitch is. Again, it didn't sink too much, and it's above the knees. If you make Sarlos get the ball up there, you can have success as a hitter.
Soriano doesn't hit a lot of home runs out that way. Most of them he jackhammers out to left and left center. But what a timely home run, no question about it, Tom. The Rangers, having been shut out in each of their last 2 games, 2-0. We're down 2-0 early tonight. And with that one swing, you're right, it's just a huge sigh of relief.
I know I feel that way watching the team play. Whew, good, we're on the board. Now we can go from there.
And Mark Teixeira, who homered off Sarlos back in Oakland on Saturday. He is second on the team in home runs with 23 this year.
Sarlos has had 4 starts. This is his 5th. A net imitator down the right field line. We got net man, net imitator. 3 of Sarlos's 4 starts have been very good. 2 runs against the Rangers. 2 other starts, he didn't give up a run in either one. He's only had 1 start that you would describe as not up to par. didn't get out of the 4th inning, gave up 8 hits and 4 runs to the Blue Jays. But 3 of his 4 starts have been very good.
Sarlos, and you talked about it, Tom, as we scouted him out. When he was a Houston Astro, he did not exactly have pleasant memories of pitching here. The start that he made here last June, he only lasted 2 innings, allowing 9 base runners. Mark Teixeira drives it to right. And the Rangers have the lead. Home sweet home. After 22 straight of nothing, no runs the last 22 innings. 3 runs in the bottom of the 1st back home.
Well, being home is a big deal for the Rangers, and I know I probably sound like a broken record, but I just keep going back to the pitching that they faced. And let's look at the last 2 pitches. It pretty much tells what we're talking about with Sarlos. Here's the pitch before the home run. A good sinker down, and you can see the swing that Mark had it. A little bit below the knees, good sinking action. Here's the home run. Above the knees without much sinking action. And the difference is a poor swing and a home run. That's the key. Make him get it up. But with all due respect to Kirk Sarlos, there's a major difference between what the Rangers see right now and what they saw the last 2 days with John Lackey and Bartolo Colon.
What a statement by the Rangers here in the bottom of the 1st inning. Gary Matthews Jr. takes. And it's not like the wind is gusting. It's not like this is one of those hot, humid nights, but we have seen 4 home runs in the 1st inning. Both teams going back-to-back. McLemore and Chavez for the Oakland A's. Soriano and Teixeira for the Rangers. Now Matthews pokes one into center field. Kotsay will not get it. And again, Kirk Sarlos had a 3-hit victory against the Rangers in Oakland. Well, he comes here to this place, a house of horrors for him. He's given up 4 hits in this 1st inning.
Yeah, there's a difference between pitching in Oakland and pitching in this ballpark. That's actually a pretty good pitch. That's a sinker down and away, and you have to give Gary credit for being able to get a base hit. I think Sarlos probably threw that ball where he wanted to.
Boy, even by Ameriquest Field standards, 4 home runs in a single inning, that's a lot.
If you project that, Josh, over 9 innings, you would end up with 36 home runs.
Well, in that, the all-time Major League record is 1/3 of that. We would certainly be sitting on history tonight.
We're on pace.
Eric Young jabs a bunt. Sarlos scrambling and sits down and throws. What a play.
Wow.
I mean, that had all the elements there for the continued unraveling of young Kirk Sarlos. But from his derriere, he throws out a speedy Eric Young.
He got there quickly, and once he fell, I didn't think he was going to throw the ball. And when he did, you wonder if he's going to throw it down the right field line. But he makes an incredible play. And a nice play by Hatteberg, who shows a real knack of being able to scoop balls out of the dirt. He's turned into a very good first baseman, guy that came up as a catcher in the Red Sox organization. That's a big out for the A's, one that had the potential to go the wrong way.
Strike 1 to David DeLucci. The Rangers have overtaken the A's in the 1st inning. As demoralizing as it was to watch McLemore and Chavez hit back-to-back pitches out of the park in the top of the inning, how must the Oakland A's feel right now?
I think what the A's are saying right now, hey, we know we're playing good. We're playing well. We're coming in here playing well. But looks like we're going to have a fight on our hands. And I think that's exactly what they expected when they got here. I know Ken Maka did.
And the A's are well aware they have won just 7 of their last 27 on the road. And if they weren't already aware, one quick check of the standings page tells you the Rangers are 30-14 here at home. On the ground, second base, McLemore will sling it across and retire DeLucci. But the Rangers did what the A's did, +1. Back-to-back home runs. It was Soriano first, a 2-run shot. And then Teixeira to make it 3-2 Texas at the end of 1. 3-2 Rangers at the end of 1, the first of a 4-game series. We go to Jim Knox.
Thank you, Josh. How about this? Some baseball fans all the way from Shelbyville, Indiana. What's your name?
Jerry Thomas.
And just say, Jerry, I guess you're a Reds National League fan, so in the American League it's the Rangers, right?
Yeah, it's the Rangers, man.
And here with all your family?
Yeah, the Hadleys and my wife Lois and my grandson Jacob.
All right, well, I appreciate you being in the Fox Box. Nice crowd in the Fox Box tonight. If you want to be a part of it, the next game you can do so is this Sunday afternoon's game as the Rangers close out their series against Oakland. All you have to do is call 817-273-5100 or log on to TexasRangers.com. $10 seats for this Sunday's game. And look at this, the Shelby people definitely have a nice big bag of peanuts, guys, for the remainder of the game.
I've heard that about Shelbyvillians. Thank you, Jim. Bobby Crosby steps in following the base hit by Arubio Durazo. And it does not appear, the early returns anyway, that we're going to have the kind of pitching duels that the Rangers and the Angels were involved in the last couple nights out on the West Coast. A couple of 2-0 finals. In that first inning, Tom, the Rangers and the Oakland A's came very close to a major league record. Most home runs by both clubs in 1 inning. That record is 5. It's been done about a dozen times.
In any inning or the first inning?
Any inning. Crosby bangs it on the ground, off Blaylock and into shallow left. And it rolls far enough away that it's going to be first and third. Big hop for Blaylock. Normally he handles that ball, and instead of possibly turning 2, the Rangers now in trouble. It's first and third and nobody out.
The last inning it was the home run. This inning it's the soft ground ball. That ball comes up on Hank. Tough ball to handle. Durazo with a soft tapper up the middle, and then the ball off Hank's glove. First and third, nobody out.
Eric Burns, who has been very good against the Rangers this year, coming up. And the way this inning has started, you almost would be okay with letting the run come in from third if it's in exchange for a double play. Of course, a strikeout then a double play would be fine too. That would be even better. And by the way, they're going to score that last ball hit by Crosby as a base hit, an infield hit.
I think the ruling is the way that ball came up on Hank made it a difficult play to handle. It's just one of those in-between hops that you hope you can handle it, but it's not easy.
On 1-0 to Eric Burns. He will take, and it's down too low. I don't know if we mentioned it late last night, Tom, but they did reverse the scoring of an error that had initially been charged to Michael Young. That now a base hit. Which means the Rangers have still committed only 3 errors in their last 9 games. Burns gets that ground ball to Michael Young. It goes 6-4 to 3. The run scores. We're tied. But again, that's an exchange you'd think that R.A. Dickey's okay with. Bases clear now and 2 down.
I think the one thing you want to avoid at all costs is a big inning. And even though you give up a run, you're on the verge of getting out of the inning without it becoming a big inning. So in that regard, I think you have to be very happy to get a double play, even if you do give up a run.
That, I believe, is the first double play this year involving both Youngs. Michael and Eric. Again, the double play combo tonight. But a wise move to make Soriano the DH, I guess, Tommy. Hit the home run that tied it in the first inning. Two quick strikes to Adam Melhuse now. Well, the Rangers sent 7 to the plate in the bottom of the first inning. They ended up with a total of 4 hits, including a couple of home runs. Melhuse slugs one to right field. That's a base hit.
That ball was not in the location R.A. wanted it.
In the mid-70s, when the Oakland Athletics were winning all those World Series, they were known as the swinging A's. They've been swinging the bat pretty well tonight. They are 5 for 9.
We've talked about how important it is for Kirk Saarloos to keep the ball down. The same is true with most pitchers. There are some high ball pitchers. But for the most part, pitchers like Dickey and Saarloos do need to keep the ball down. Nice change of speed like that certainly doesn't hurt either. But the 2 home runs and that last hit by Melhuse were on pitches up above the waist. The A's have jumped on those high pitches.
Careful with this guy, Mark Kotsay. And Dickey spots it right on the outside corner. Kotsay rammed a couple of home runs off R.A. in Oakland 5 days ago. 2 of the 8 home runs he's hit this year were in that one game.
Well, when you're going poorly, it's 0-2 and you go, oh boy, here we go again. When you're going like Kotsay, probably doesn't even matter to him that it's 0-2. He's in such a nice groove.
But R.A. Dickey gets a weak ground ball, will heave it to first base and get out of the inning. Damage control. It was first and third, nobody out. The run comes in on a double play and no further damage from there.
Transmisiones en español aquí en su canal 27 y su canal 4 en KDFA y KDFW, presionando el botón SAP en su control remoto, así que puede escuchar la acción con José Guzmán y un servidor, Eleno Mena. Así que ya saben, lo escuche aquí en español.
Gracias, fellas. The Rangers and the A's going at it here in the bottom of inning 2. It's all tied up 3-3, and there's a curveball from Saarloos to Rod Barajas. 9 hits in the game already, Tom, the 2 teams combined. And remarkably, 4 of them leaving the yard in that very first inning. Rod Barajas getting a bit out in front. 1 down here in the bottom of the second inning. And the thing about Kirk Saarloos, at least if you look at his minor league numbers, he really does not give up a lot of home runs at all. That year that he had in the state of Texas pitching for Round Rock, the Astros Double-A team, 84 innings, Tom, he gave up 1 home run.
Well, when you watch Saarloos pitch and you look back what he must have looked like to minor league hitters with the same stuff, college guy with a lot of experience, you probably were getting Double-A hitters to swing at more pitches than big league hitters will swing at. Change-ups, sinkers out of the strike zone. And he was probably able to just keep the ball down and out of the strike zone and get a lot of outs. With big league hitters, you can do that from time to time, but more often than not, the hitters will lay off that pitch and make you get the ball up a little bit. And so Saarloos just has to adapt to the better quality of hitters.
Lance Nix, one of the Rangers, trying to get healthy here at home. 3 for his last 29. And again, you know, just the way you've seen Lance swing the bat this year, you figure he is due to bust out in a big way. Rolls that one along to first base. 2 down. As we talk about Ranger youngsters, Tom, Sam Narron is going to come up and make his big league debut tomorrow. He will face young Rich Harden for the Oakland A's. Sam Narron actually getting here to Ameriquest Field today and getting his first look at a big league ballpark up close, at least this one. 15th round pick a couple of years ago, and that'll be a huge night for him tomorrow.
Yeah, a real contrast in young pitchers. Harden, one of the harder throwers in the league. Right-hander, big, strong right-hander who throws well into the 90s, many times in the upper 90s. And Sam Narron, a left-handed pitcher, who doesn't depend on velocity, depends more on a good assortment of off-speed pitches, good control, and his changeup.
We'll be telling you as we get to the 3rd inning about some of the reorganization that the Rangers have done in the front office. We'll be chatting with the new director of player personnel who can tell us a bit about Sam Narron. Your Coors Edge matchup for tomorrow, Narron and Harden. And boy, Rich Harden was spectacular against the Rangers in Oakland just a few days ago. One, 2 to Michael Young is down and outside. Mike started that 3-run uprising in the bottom of the 1st with a single. And there's another one.
That's not a bad approach against this type of a pitcher, to hit the ball the other way. Don't try to pull it. That was a breaking ball, looked like a slider outside corner. You try to pull it, chances are you don't hit a line drive. You see Mel Hughes go to the outside corner. The pitch is down and away. Just a nice job of having a good plan and being able to execute it.
So the Rangers, who remember in the last 2 games were 4 for 59. Tonight are 5 for 10. And you just had that hope, if not that feeling, as we discussed, that once you see the bricks, you know, as soon as you get close to this ballpark, you just get that feeling like, okay, slump's over. Rangers are home, and here we go. Big cut for Blaylock, but he's behind in the count 0-1. So that record from the 72 Rangers, Tom, stays intact a little longer, I guess. 28 scoreless innings at one point that July. It was broken up when Frank Howard singled home Ted Ford to end a 22-inning scoreless drought.
There's probably about 15 other scoreless droughts of somewhere near 22 innings. I bet you there was double-digit scoring droughts on a number of occasions.
Down too low to Blaylock, 2-1.
In fact, I'd like to see how many times we were shut out back in 1972. I don't know what that number is, but
you sure you want to see that?
I'll bet you it's about 15.
We could probably look that up for you.
I was afraid you might be able to do that.
Yeah. I'll whisper it to you.
All right.
That one's outside.
Nah, go for it. I say 15 shutouts.
Well, actually, curiously, they don't list it in the media guide. I'll have to dig a little deeper.
All right. No, that's all right. What did we hit as a team that year?
217.
217. There had to be some shutouts when you hit 217.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. The 72 Rangers hit 56 home runs. That is one fewer than Alex Rodriguez hit by himself a couple of years ago.
And you can see Hank's approach is he's taking his normal swing. He's going for it. And he's either a little bit out in front of it or swinging at a pitch that's a little bit out of the strike zone. See if he shortens up just a little bit with 2 strikes.
Runner goes, and there goes Hank.
He shortened it up.
He drives it into right center field. It's going to skip up against the wall. Michael Young coming in. And the Rangers up in a 4-3 lead here in the 2nd inning.
I don't know that he shortened his stroke at all, but he got a pitch he could handle. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The theme in this game is when the Rangers have had a hit, for the most part, it's been a pitch up. This pitch is supposed to be down and away. It's not a bad pitch. It's on the outside part of the plate. But this time, Hank just waits for it a little bit and drives it into the gap. Kotsay jumps up, picks it off the wall, gets it in quickly. Kotsay's an excellent outfielder. Didn't make much difference. You weren't going to have anything but a double and an RBI on that ball.
That's got to feel great for Hank Blaylock. That snaps an 0 for 18 slump. That's the worst he had had since his rookie year of a couple of years ago. And it breaks a 3-3 tie. Get Soriano up there with a chance to do some more damage. Alfonso already has hit a 2-run home run. That is hopefully buried in what was a 1 for 25 slump for him. Now, you sure don't get the sense that Saarloos is going to breeze through it in this ballpark against the Rangers now that they're wearing those white uniforms again. One ball, 2 strikes to count. And Soriano, as we mentioned, Tom, doesn't hit a lot of them to right, but that one flew out just fine.
Well, that is something he continues to work on in batting practice, is becoming more proficient at hitting the ball the other way.
Now to left center to bring home the hammer. Here comes Blaylock to make it 5-3 Rangers. Wow, a 3 RBI night in the first 2 innings for Soriano. He had gone the whole road trip without a single RBI.
I think it helps that the Rangers are facing a pitcher that they weren't that familiar with, Kirk Saarloos, in back-to-back starts. They saw him in Oakland, and now they're seeing him in this ballpark. I think that makes them a little bit more comfortable with his repertoire of pitches. They've probably had a few more pitches up, a few more pitches to hit, and that certainly has helped. But in his last start, he only gave up 3 hits in 5 innings.
Now, I don't know if familiarity breeds contempt, but it sure does breed a better feeling about Ranger baseball right now. A 5-3 lead in the 2nd inning. Again, after the Rangers have been shut out back-to-back nights in Anaheim. Mark Teixeira homered in the 1st inning. That gives him 12 of his 24 home runs now, Tom, this month. You got to think that the player of the month of July in the American League could well be that guy.
He's got a great shot at it.
By the way, Tex with that home run, becoming the 4th youngest switch hitter to reach the 50 home run mark for his career. Mickey Mantle, Eddie Murray, Ruben Sierra, the only guys that got there quicker. Let's see, Mickey Mantle was one of Buck Showalter's heroes. Eddie Murray was Mark Teixeira's hero. Ruben Sierra was a Ranger hero. And Mark Teixeira is emerging as such himself. Off the plate and near McLemore. He will scoop it up and underhand to first, barely in time to get Teixeira. The Rangers picking up R.A. Dickey here. They get him a couple of runs in the bottom of the 2nd. It is a 5-3 lead at the end of 2.
No.
Texas Ranger baseball brought to you by Dodge. Grab life by the horns, and by Dos Equis. Sooner or later, you'll get it. Now, the Rangers have the lead 5-3. Mark McLemore and Eric Chavez lead things off in the top of the 3rd for Oakland. They hit back-to-back R.A. Dickey pitchers out of here in the 1st inning, and it made it kind of a dicey beginning to the night. But the Rangers have roared back. And in this inning, by the way, we've talked a little bit about some of the changes at the top of this Rangers organization. The new director of player personnel will be joining us here. Wonderful baseball guy, Dom Cheedy. Get to know that name. McLemore to Eric Young, and one quick out of here in the 3rd inning. Dom Cheedy is now the director of player personnel, but I don't think a lot of people have ever seen your face around these parts, Dom. So here he is, and congratulations. What exactly does this mean in terms of what you were doing and what you're going to be doing now?
Well, what I was doing is the advanced scout and the special assignment guy in the American League, helping John with trades and acquiring players, and the new position has a bigger umbrella to it.
Just to let people know about your background a little bit, very strong minor league background, and you and John Hart were together for a while in the Orioles organization. John was a manager, you were a pitching coach. Jamie Reed was a trainer, and kind of old home week, so to speak, now. But you guys, did you ever think, I mean, 20 years ago in Rochester, New York, that you'd all be reassembling at a place like this?
Well, baseball is a small fraternity. It's a very small family, and you know, I'm happy to be around a lot of really good people.
Dom, in your present job, how much contact have you had with the Rangers minor league system?
Well, the last probably week I've done some evaluation, but until up to them, Tom, it hasn't been a lot of contact. It's mainly, like I said, other teams in the big leagues, so there's a lot of evaluation going on.
We were going to ask you about Sam Nairn, but chances are you haven't seen him very much.
I have seen Sam Nairn.
Well, then let us know what we should expect on Friday then.
Sam Nairn is a pitcher. He's not gifted with great stuff, but he comes from a great baseball family. He's got a good feel to pitch, as we call it. He throws the ball on the ground. He changes speeds well. He's a great competitor. You know, it should be exciting to watch.
Not your easiest situation to get your first major league start in the Oakland A's in this ballpark in a pennant race.
What do they say? Out of the frying pan and into the fire.
That's what it is.
Here is Jermaine Dye. And R.A. Dickey falls behind 1-0. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an exciting night. The Rangers and the A's, obviously, Dom, they're jockeying for first place. A crowd of about 45,000 expected tomorrow night. The throwback jerseys. Sam Nairn wasn't even around in 1974, I guess.
Yeah. Just a little story on Sam. I mean, here's a guy that was hit in the face with a line drive, and this guy was on the mound 9 days later.
Wow.
So, you know, tough kid, good competitor.
I know this, Dom, must be one of your busiest times of year when you're talking about being involved in trade talks.
Jermaine Dye hoisting one to right field. This ball is deep, but not out. Gary Matthews Jr. has it.
With so many teams jockeying for position, the papers would have you believe that this is kind of a dry trade season because more teams are looking and are willing to trade. Is that pretty much the way you've seen it?
I would say that it's probably a seller's market. And it's a little smaller than usual, but I think that you'll probably see a lot of things pick up as it goes.
This Saturday afternoon, as a matter of fact, is that trade deadline. Do you see a lot of August activity, Dom? Guys sliding through waivers and still activity in August, too?
I think right now there are so many teams that can look at it objectively and say that they are still in the race.
Hatteberg, I'm sorry, Dom. Drives it to right field. Can you hang around for a little bit longer? Yeah. Wonderful. R.A. Dickey out of the inning. We'll get back to that as the Rangers approach the trade deadline. Tonight against the A's, they lead it 5-3. Underway in the bottom of inning 3. It's the first of a 4-game series, a huge series now between the Rangers and second place Oakland. And check it out. Both times that the A's have scored, the Rangers have scored just a little bit more. 5-3 game. Kirk Saarloos on the mound facing Gary Matthews Jr. Eric Young will follow, then David DeLucci. We continue to chat it up with Dom Cheedy, just announced today as the new Rangers Director of Player Personnel. One of a bunch of moves today. Dom promoted from Special Assistant to General Manager. John Daniels got a promotion today from Director of Baseball Operations to Assistant General Manager. Ron Hopkins goes from Coordinator of Scouting to Scouting Director. And Assistant General Manager of Scouting and Player Development, Grady Fuson, resigning those duties with the organization. Grady, according to the press release, will remain with the club in a yet-to-be-defined role. But suffice to say, Dom, I think there was a lot of conjecture about exactly where things go from here following the announcement that John Hart was going to be continuing on. Is there a sense of just, okay, now things are starting to fall into place and we can go forward? Everybody knows the flow chart a little bit.
Well, I think everybody's trying to go forward, and the biggest thing we can do, as you do in any organization, is you try to improve every year. We'll try to build on the strengths that we've already established, and also some of the weaknesses we'll try to improve.
Don, there's probably not many people with a more varied job description than you have, and although I've never talked to you about this, it appeared to me that one of the parts of your job you liked the best was your interaction with the pitchers during spring training. Will you still have any opportunity to do that?
I doubt that I'll have the interaction that I've had in spring training the last couple of years, but I will still have some interaction with them.
Am I right that that was a very enjoyable part of your job?
It's always fun to get on the field.
Matthews waits and he takes outside, so the Rangers get the leadoff man on here in the third. Eric Young coming up. And again, just to let people know a little bit more about Dom Sheedy's background. He was a pitcher, Atlanta Braves second-round pick back in 1976. Pretty good prospect. And as the Rangers continue to come forward with some pretty good pitching prospects, we mentioned Sam Narron makes that big league debut tomorrow. Dom, it's going to be very gratifying for you to see how Ryan Drees has taken off this year, I would think.
Ryan's really matured. He's come along, he's what we thought he'd be.
Has there been more to it? I mean, we pretty much simplify it and say he throws a sinker now and he didn't before. Is there a lot more to it than that?
Yeah, I think Ryan really came on mentally. He realized some things in his career that he needed to do, and to his credit and also to Oral and Goose's credit, they did a heck of a job. They made some mechanical adjustments and changed the angle that he throws the ball at, which has really produced, what we call now his sinker. So, I mean, those guys are to be credited, and Ryan is also to be credited. He did a heck of a job.
And I guess if it was that easy, you would just have every pitcher do the same thing, and we'd have a whole staff full of guys like Ryan Drees.
And Oral Hersheimer.
I wish it was that easy, but again, to Ryan's credit, he did a heck of a job with it.
Again, Ryan goes on Saturday. Sam Narron will make that first big league start tomorrow. Wonderful minor league numbers this year, 12-1 for Sam Narron. But he draws Rich Harden. It was just lights out against the Rangers in Oakland. Zito and Redmond. After that in this series, runner goes. And the Rangers stay out of the double play by doing that. Eric Young gets it to the right side, as he is, I'm sure, being asked to do in that situation.
Actually, it's kind of a guessing game. When the hit and run is on, you're not sure as a hitter which fielder is going to cover, whether it's the shortstop or the second baseman. Billy Martin always said he wanted you to hit the ball where it's pitched and don't try to guess and don't try to guide the ball. And I think that's probably the best way to approach it. That particular case, the shortstop was covering, not the second baseman, and it ended up being a 4-3. You can see Crosby over near second. Now, had he hit the ball to shortstop, he would have had a first and third and a base hit. But the pitch was away, and it was tough to do that.
David DeLucci takes down too low. Again, we're chatting with Dom Sheedy in this inning, newly named Director of Player Personnel for the Rangers today. The emphasis has been on the younger Texas Rangers all year. But right now, as we kind of talked about, Dom, before the top of the third inning, at least the calendar tells us right now the emphasis is on what's up with the trades. Everybody wondering about not just what the Rangers will do, but what the other teams in the division will do.
Right. I think it's going to be, like I said, a seller's market. You'll see some trades in August. A lot of teams are still, in position. They think they can compete. And, as teams fall off, it may be more aggressive, and you'll see more players become available. So August may be a special time this year.
Well, now that you've had the press conference and a new title, are you going to do anything different tomorrow than you would have done otherwise?
No, actually, flight first thing in the morning back to Detroit, right back to advancing. So.
3 balls, a strike to DeLucci, runner at second. That one drifting outside.
I'm sure we talk about advanced scouting reports, Dom. How different are scouting reports from one team to another? Do you do pretty much what you would normally do, or do you take your cue from what the manager wants you to do?
Well, we're fortunate here. We have a manager who really pays attention to detail, and he's really thorough, and he challenges people to become better, and that's Buck. And he really challenges you to get out and get the material to him. I mean, different styles of club. Every club is different. They have a different style. Oakland is known for taking a lot of pitches, and trying to work the count and go deep. And other clubs are more aggressive, more free swinging, and also it comes into your pitchers. Some people pitch inside, but it becomes very detailed, and it's challenging. It's a great thing to do.
Well, hey, Dom, congrats on the promotion, on the new title, pitching change here. We say goodbye to you. We'll say hello to a new pitcher in a moment.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Good luck.
Tom.
Okay.
5-3 Rangers will come back in a moment on KDF I-27. Something about Ameriquest Field in Arlington that just doesn't sit well with opposing pitchers. And boy, Kirk Saarloos, who pitched so well against the Rangers in Oakland, did not get out of the 3rd inning tonight. That's what happened to him last time he pitched here when he was a Houston Astro. Here's former Ranger Justin Dukeshire.
Justin Dukeshire's done a terrific job for the A's. He's pitched in a lot of different roles of relief, long relief. He's pitched at the end of the game on several occasions, and more often than not, he's done a terrific job. He pitched 2 1/3 scoreless innings on Saturday, and he's been an important guy out of their bullpen. He's a guy that can give you some innings out of the bullpen. He's been a starting pitcher most of his minor league career, and so the fact that he comes in relief and has to pitch 3 or 4 innings is not a problem. He ranks 3rd among American League relievers with 60 innings pitched.
Now the Rangers got this going with a Gary Matthews Jr. walk, and then 1 out after that. DeLucci walked. Dukeshire to Barajas. Not yet. A little check of Matthews first. Rod Barajas has had a great year, no question about it. 12 home runs is by far a career best. But he's been stuck on that number 12, Tom, for about 5 weeks. This will be a heck of a time to pound one out. Give R.A. Dickey a little bit of room to maneuver here as he goes through a tough Oakland lineup tonight. Dukeshire traded at the end of 2002 spring training from the Rangers. Leaves a breaking ball up, 2-0.
Justin throws a fastball, not an overpowering fastball, a cut fastball, and I'd say probably a changeup. Probably his best pitch is that overhand curveball. It's a big, sharp-breaking curveball with a good change of speed to it.
Out of Coronado High School in Lubbock. Big cut. Barajas comes up empty, though. 2-1.
Tough pitch to pull. Looked like a cutter outside corner.
Dukeshire last year spent most of the year at AAA, was 14-2. Made his A's debut the day his first child was born. How about that for a day? Runners go. And a foul by Barajas. Hit it hard.
Gary Matthews had a good jump. I don't believe there was much that Mel Hughes could have done on that play. And the other side of it is there was not going to be a play at second base because no one was covering at second base.
It's almost a shame that Barajas swung, let alone fouled him.
Yeah, it would have been second and third. But the other side of it is you drive a ball in the alley, you got a couple of RBIs too.
Trying to wait on the off-speed pitch, and he fouls it back this way.
Well, both curveballs that he's thrown have hung and stayed up high. That one probably stayed up a little too high to really hit that well. If you saw it, the location where it ended up was tough to really get the good part of the bat on it with.
Two again. Drives it into right field, but coming on here is Jermaine Dye, and he's got it for the second out of the inning. Now we'll see what Lance Nix can do. Folks, a reminder not to miss the Texas Rangers Baseball Hall of Fame induction of Fergie Jenkins, Buddy Bell, and Tom Vandergrift. The pregame ceremony on Saturday, then the Rangers and the A's play ball at 7:17 p.m. A little bit delayed because of the on-field theatrics that you'll be watching. In fact, if you tune in at 6:30 on FSN Southwest, you will see the entire induction.
We have a little injury here, Josh.
Yeah, wow. Here comes Maka. Here comes Larry Davis, the trainer. By the way, fireworks after that Saturday game. Not a lot of tickets left, but call now and grab them if you want to. 817-273-5100. Already in this game for the Oakland A's, Kirk Saarloos is out. That's because he was not effective in 2 1/3. Justin Duchscherer is getting a look-see here. No action yet in the A's pen.
Now, he stopped and called the trainer out, and he's not showing any sign of trying to throw to see how it feels. They're just talking right now. See if he tries to toss a few to see how it feels. I'm sure Ken Mock is a little concerned. You've got your long reliever out there, and you need a couple of innings from him. Otherwise, you have to go to your second long reliever in the first game of a 4-game series.
Justin Lear would probably be your guy to come on.
You know, we talked about his 2 curveballs that he threw. Both curveballs stayed way up and out of the strike zone. And maybe that stiffness that he's feeling in the back is what's not allowing him to really follow through and get on top of that curveball and keep it down where he needs to keep it.
Well, if that's the case, let's see if Lance Nix can make him pay. Lance trying to break out of his slump. He's 3 for his last 30. And if you're just joining us, this game began with some balls getting thumped out of here. Both the Rangers and the A's hitting back-to-back home runs in the first inning.
Yeah, there's a good curveball.
Big, juicy, slow one. 64 miles an hour. Well, as was discussed and as was hoped for by Ranger fans, a return trip home would be the cure for the ailing bats. 5 runs on 7 hits so far. But the Oakland A's have been swinging the bats very well. They have won 5 straight games. And again, the major storyline tonight, the fact that the A's have moved to within 1.5 game of first place. And the Rangers are trying to beat back their closest pursuers here in a 4-game series. For the A's, they're on an 11-game road trip starting tonight, making stops in all the first-place American League towns. 4 in Arlington, 3 in New York, 3 in Minneapolis. There's a curveball that didn't do much. 2-2. For the Rangers, obviously they've got the same 4 against the A's, but they're at home. Then they go on the road. They play Detroit and Baltimore, not New York and Minnesota. Nix with a whack, but there is Hatteberg with a leap. And the Rangers strand a couple. End of 3 in Ameriquest Field in Arlington. 5-3 Rangers. A frenetic start to this game. It was 5-3 at the end of 2. It is now 5-3 as we move to the 4th. R.A. Dickey's going to face Rubio, Durazo, Bobby Crosby, and Eric Burns. Durazo and Crosby each hitting singles in the 2nd inning, but then Burns banged into a double play. The Rangers have already chased away the Oakland starter, Kirk Saarloos. Justin Duchscherer had to come on last inning. Hard hit. Eric Young is there, though, waiting for Teixeira to get to the bag. 1 down. And the way the Ranger bullpen has performed all year, especially of late, I don't think it's out of line to suggest, Tom, that if the Rangers get 5 strong innings from R.A. Dickey, that they'd be pretty happy with that tonight. I mean, 6 would be lovely, but you'd settle for 5 against a team like Oakland.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're Buck Showalter, that's probably what you're saying. You'd love to see R.A. Dickey be able to give you 6 or 7. But if it is 5, and if you do have a lead after 5, with the bullpen pitching the way it has, then I think you feel pretty good about your chances as well.
Line shot, base hit, Bobby Crosby. The rookie is 2 for 2. That is not just your garden variety rookie. He leads AL rookies in hits, home runs, runs batted in, doubles, you name it.
He was expected to play outstanding defense. They weren't sure what he would hit. But I'm not sure what the question was based on the way he hit at AAA last year. He had 32 doubles, 22 homers, stole 24 bases, hit over 300. Seems like a pretty good performance for a year at AAA. That should indicate you're going to have some pretty good success at the big leagues as well.
I think he received the ultimate vote of confidence this offseason. Oakland really had no plan B in case Crosby had a bad spring training. Miguel Tejada had signed with the Baltimore Orioles. They pretty much just said, look, this guy was the MVP of the PCL last year. Hit .308, 22 home runs, 24 stolen bases, played great D. He's got the gig.
Yeah, I guess what I would suggest is that's not really going out on a limb when you've got a talented #1 draft choice who has played several years in the minor leagues and then put together a AAA season like that. When you know he's going to give you solid defense, I mean, to me, that's not that much of a risk.
That's why you let Tejada walk away, grab the money. Burns offered at that one. The Orioles, by the way, one of 2 teams in the AL the Rangers have not seen yet. The Twins are the other.
That's a pretty good location with that slider right on the outside corner. And Burns has had 21 RBIs in July. Been another key contributor to the surge that the A's have made.
He's actually had an RBI in 6 consecutive games. He was 3 for 4 yesterday in the A's win against Seattle. He had the game-tying 8th inning home run. As long as the Mariners are equal opportunity lenders, I mean, if they're not going to play well against Oakland, as long as they don't play well against Texas, I don't think you're going to hear a lot of complaining. Seattle now 38 and 62. The Rangers up 18.5 on Seattle. What a turnaround from a year ago. The Rangers trailed the Mariners by 23.5 at this time last year. They're up 18.5 on them this year. More importantly, they're up a half a game on this Oakland team. And obviously, Tom, we can't forget the Anaheim Angels now that they have won a couple in a row against the Rangers, and they've shaved it down to a 3-game differential there.
Well, they don't have Troy Glass. They don't have the power they expected to have, and they're not really swinging the bats that well. But when you've got Cologne untracked, Lackey pitching the way he is, combined with the way Escobar can throw, you got a pretty good rotation. They'll be in it.
Ron Mayhay getting to work in the Ranger bullpen. Dickey's pitch count is only at 55. But if you get in trouble this inning, maybe you need a guy for the Kotze, McLemore, Chavez part of the puzzle. That would be Mayhay's assignment. Busted bat, and the ball ends up foul. Burns keeps hitting baseballs down near third. He is going through bats in this game tonight. You mentioned Troy Glass. Eric Burns was a teammate of Troy Glass's at UCLA.
It's a good thing the ball was to the right. Hank got a good head start getting out of the way of that bat. That bat had some pretty good velocity on it.
You know, Eric Burns last year was hitting .330 at the end of June. But then he had a miserable July, Tom. He hit .095. This year, kind of a reverse of all that. His real good month has been July. And the A's will need him to keep doing that. Just missed. Boy, R.A. wanted that one, too. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Close, but no call.
Tried to sneak it on that outside corner. Crosby, the lead from first. Not going. And again, he barely missed. Ball 4. And Dickey's got to find a way to shake off that disappointment of not getting those last 2 calls. Adam Melhugh's the batter, and he singled last time up.
This is ball 3. Evidently a little low and outside. Let's look at ball 4.
Wow.
Pretty much the same there. I guess what you say is if it wasn't a strike the first time, it also wasn't a strike the second time.
Yeah, Oral Hershiser out there. Maybe try to paint a positive visual here for R.A. Dickey. You get a ground ball right here. Let that defense do it for you. Turn that double play. You're out of the inning. And a quick reminder, the Rangers and the A's again tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow night, the first 20,000 fans get a free Rangers t-shirt, compliments of Coke and Tom Thumb. You can call right now for tickets, 817-273-5100, or log on to TexasRangers.com. Nice looking 1972, 73, 74 version. The Texas Rangers baseball t-shirt, Jill modeling for you. Jill just slugged me in the arm for no good reason. All I said was she was modeling. I'm sorry, but she was. All right, here we go. R.A. Dickey. Swinging, strike 1. Adam Melhugh's hitting .256. Does have 5 home runs in part-time duty. Adam Melhugh's was a guy that sent the A's to the playoffs officially last year. Had a 2-out bases loaded single against the Rangers off Coco Cordero in the 10th inning. Seattle losing on the same night in Anaheim. Setting off a pretty wild celebration in Oakland that night. Fly ball, shallow left. David DeLucci coming on, and he will make the catch. Tom, on the subject of Coco Cordero, great news if you're a Ranger fan. Before the game, it was announced he signed a 2-year extension with a club option for a 3rd year. The kind of year that Coco Cordero has had, closing out games for the Rangers. Nice to know he'll be doing that for another season or 2 after this one.
Yeah, great news for the Rangers, great news for his teammates, and great news for Coco. That smile is the same smile he had today when he signed that contract. He's very happy. He appreciates the commitment, wants to stay here for a long time to come. Hopefully that's exactly what it'll turn out to be.
He will take a shot at the all-time Ranger record for saves in a season this year. Now here is Kotsay, top of the order, and so far in this game, Dickey has won out. He could not say that in Oakland when Kotsay homered twice against him in 3 at-bats.
Remember, that was our game within the game. RA's performance against the A's, and in particular, Kotsay and Dye, who have been hot against him.
And as you discussed, Kotsay, part of the reason he's doing so well the last week or 2, he spoils good pitches, just kind of knocks them out of play on the left side.
And that's probably what he's been doing for the last 2 months. Almost a .400 hitter over the last 2 months.
Rip and a miss. R.A. Dickey with a fastball right around the chest. 1-2.
And this is a pitch that the A's as a team don't swing at very often, a pitch out of the strike zone. Our A's made a lot of really good pitches today that have been balls just out of the strike zone that the A's have taken. And based on their reputation, that's probably not a surprise. They're known as a patient team.
It is certainly not your run-of-the-mill late July game between the Rangers and the A's. The two teams are separated by half a game for first in the AL West. And the go-ahead man is up there for the Athletics. Fouled. And Dickey will have to do it again.
Same high pitch, not where he wanted to throw it. He's trying to throw that ball down and in. He got it up and away. Kotsay fouled it off. Not too far away from the one he swung and missed at.
Took something off, and the count goes to 3-2. A big pitch coming now because these runners will be in motion. 3-2, 2 out. With the crowd firmly behind R.A. Dickey. Here he comes. Outside, loaded up for McLemore. McLemore, remember, hit his first home run all year off Dickey in the first inning. And a pitch that was up in the zone. Mark McLemore, as we discussed, Tom, only hits a home run about every 100 or 105 at bats for his career. But out it went. And now he's up there with the bases loaded. With Chavez on deck, Ron Mayhay ready in the bullpen. That option available if it gets that far. It's 70 pitches for the night. Dickey just trying to handle McLemore, keep the lead at 5-3. McLemore offered.
Wasn't a strike, but R.A. finally got one of the A's hitters to swing at a pitch out of the strike zone. I think Mac is looking fastball all the way here. He knows R.A. doesn't want to walk him. He's probably figuring he's going to throw him a fastball with the bases loaded, 1 ball and no strikes. R.A. didn't throw him a strike, but fortunately Mac offered at it. Evens the count at 1-1.
Takes it, and it's 1-2. Just missed inside the fastball. One of the few pitches we've seen at 90 from R.A. Dickey in this game. Poked into left field, 1 run in. DeLucci firing home. 2 runs are in. It's 5-5.
A good job of hitting by Mac with 2 strikes. He's just trying to put the ball in play and hit it where it's pitched. And R.A. threw a pitch on the outside corner, and he found a hole. Not far away from shortstop, but just far enough to find the hole and drive in a couple of runs.
Boy, McLemore being inserted into this Oakland lineup tonight ends up being huge. He's got 3 runs batted in. R.A. Dickey is going to hand the ball over. Ron Mayhew is going to come on to face Chavez. That is vintage Mark McLemore right there. Not trying to do too much with it. A 2-strike, 2-out, 2 RBI hit. And everything's even now. 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors both ways. We'll come right back in just a moment. Skies are clearing, hopefully a metaphor as we progress in this 4th inning. The Oakland A's have tied things 5-5 thanks to former Ranger Mark McLemore. Ron Mayhew, a one-time Oakland A, comes on to face Eric Chavez with 2 on, 2 out. Chavez has had a big year against left-hand pitching, really for the first time in his career.
If you look at what Chavez has done, as you look at Ron's fine numbers, his last 3 years, he's hit 229 against left-handed pitching. He's hitting 327 this year. He has 8 home runs and 20 RBIs and less than 100 at-bats against left-handed pitching.
Oh, here's Mayhew pouring a couple right in. And Eric Chavez, one of many Oakland A's that's been hot for a while. 9-game hitting streak now, including a home run tonight. He's hit safely in 17 out of 18 since coming off the DL. Check the forward leaderboard. The Rangers are 21-9 from their bullpen. 21 wins, 9 losses, and they've got the 3rd best bullpen ERA in the league. Outstanding the last 2 weeks. Fly ball and back at second base. Eric Young. He's got it. Rangers out of the inning. The A's have tied it. Top of the order coming up, though, for the Rangers when we come back. Clearing skies and actually a beautiful night as it's turned out here in Arlington. The Rangers and the A's are now tied 5-5. They're very close to being tied for the top spot in the AL West. Separated by a half game coming in. But the Rangers have the home field advantage. The 4-game series will be played here in Arlington. Here's the top of the order, Mike Young, as the bottom of the 4th is underway. Already Michael Young 2 for 2 with a couple of runs scored. He has been the engine that has been driving the Rangers all year. And you wouldn't really expect anything different on a night like tonight when the Rangers collectively felt like they needed it to get a win. Back-to-back 2-0 shutouts in Anaheim preceding this game tonight. The Angels and the Seattle Mariners are playing ball this evening. We'll keep you updated on that game once it gets going. We'll slide you some other scores as we go along, too. The Tigers lead the White Sox 3-2 in the 8th. The White Sox falling on some tough times of late. Up too high to Young with Blaylock on deck. Baltimore hammered the Yankees tonight. Actually this afternoon, 9-1 was that final score. Young 3 for 3. Another 2-strike base hit. And the go-ahead man is on. Blaylock stepping in there.
That's the 2nd straight time Michael's hit a breaking ball too. Last time up he waited on a slider, drove it into right field. That time he waited just long enough on a slow curveball away from him and was able to line it over shortstop. He would keep his hands back even though his weight was a little forward and stroked a sharp single.
Now we'll see if Young can be brought home for a 3rd time in 4 innings. Blaylock and Justin Dukeshire, a couple of guys who were tight from their days spent together in the Rangers minor league system. Hammer goes up here, 2 balls, no strikes. Looking to give the Rangers a lead here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And from a personal standpoint, Tag, trying to make sure that indeed he has left that slump behind. It had kind of bottomed out at 0 for 18, but then he ripped that double in the 2nd inning. And you hope that is the first step out of the molasses.
And if you look at the scoreboard, you talk about projections. How many runs will we score this inning?
In this inning?
This half inning, based on what's already happened in the game.
Oh, I see. This is my SAT question tonight. I think the answer is 3.
Yep.
Because every time the A's score, the Rangers come back with 1 better, right?
With 1 better. And the 1 inning that didn't happen, neither team scored.
Well, I can now get into any college in the country based on our conversation here tonight.
Yes, you can.
Good. Soriano on deck. You have a feeling Duchscherer doesn't want to face Soriano with 2 on, nobody out, so you're thinking he's going to be coming in fastball here to Hank. Curveball instead. Lifted into left field, 1 out.
Yeah, I don't know that coming in with Hank is a real good idea with that porch out there in right field. Basically what you're looking at in the first 4 guys in the Ranger lineup is, I don't think any of them are a real treat to face in this ballpark for sure.
Let's quickly go to Jim Knox.
Okay, thank you very much, Josh. You know, tomorrow's a big night here at AmeriQuest Field. It is the John and Michelle Wetland annual Toys of Summer Toy Drive. How can Ranger fans help out?
You need to bring a new toy here to AmeriQuest Field tomorrow night. Now, I know the Rangers are giving away 20,000 t-shirts to the first 20,000 fans. And John and I would really like to see 20,000 new toys brought out here, you know, as maybe a thank you for the generosity that the Rangers are giving back to the fans.
There you go. So tomorrow night's your chance, Ranger fans, to help out. Already the Newberg group brought something like 200 toys. And look at this. They got dolls. You got all sorts of little munchkins, everything out here, Josh. We'll let you play with these toys after the game, all right?
Oh. Did Jim just call Jamie Newberg a munchkin?
I don't know.
No. Jamie Newberg does that great job with the Ranger newsletter. And his group is out here tonight. They've got one of the luxury suites. Jamie's going to kill me if I don't tell the story about Hank Blaylock and Justin Duchscherer defiling each other's promotional pictures at one of his events a couple years ago. So there, I've done it, Jamie. Duchscherer and Blaylock got together in a pretty big at-bat just a couple moments ago. And though the count grew to 3-2, Duchscherer winning out, getting a Hank to fly to left. Soriano chops it foul. He's down 0-2. A lot of confidence with that curveball from Duchscherer. Throwing it to Soriano, who's already collected 3 runs batted in this game. 2-run homer in the first. RBI single in the second. Young on the run, and the throw down there is going to be not in time. Bruce Fleming with the call. Michael Young in under the tag of Mark McLemore. Michael Young steals his 9th base of the season.
A close play at second. Mac made a nice tag on a ball that short hopped him. Pretty good throw. A little tough to handle. Took that tough hop. The throw was there. It looked like Mac tagged the back leg, which was bent as the front leg got in. Good call by Bruce Fleming. I think that's Bruce Fleming out there, isn't it?
It is. There's a ground ball to third base. Chavez lassos it right near the line, and Soriano is out. Hatteberg had to dance across the bag. I don't know if he might have gotten spiked there. He kind of limped away. Young had to hold, and the inning is left up to Mark Teixeira. McLemore and Young were talking out there at second base. Now things have calmed down a little bit. Remember, the two teams combined for 4 home runs in the first inning. There has not been one since. But if there's a candidate to restart that, you're looking at him. Mark Teixeira has 12 home runs this month of July alone. Only Paul Konerko has a higher ratio of home runs per at-bat, or per at-bats, than Mark Teixeira. Konerko tied for the league lead in home runs. Mark Teixeira might have splintered his bat. Yep, he wants a new one. A former Ranger, Rob Bell, pitched a great game tonight. Tag. Tampa Bay beat Kansas City 2-0.
Nice to see Rob in the big leagues doing well.
And we mentioned the Yankees getting destroyed by the Orioles. That was Sidney Ponson with a 4-hitter. And suddenly he's pitching a little better. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. In the National League, the Braves got 2 in the 9th off Jose Mesa. The Braves beat the Pirates 3-2. The Atlanta Braves stay atop the National League East Division. Wow, outside corner is the call. Justin Duchscherer is out of the inning. And the leadoff single failed to blossom. We now go to the 5th in Arlington tonight, tied 5-5. Well, the Rangers staggered back home in the wee small hours in the morning from a 2-4 West Coast road trip. They've got 4 now against the Oakland A's starting tonight. It's a night that started out with the A's on top 2-0. But then the Rangers came back, made it 3-2. The A's tied it. The Rangers went up 5-3. And now, 5-5 in the 5th. Jermaine Dye trying to change that. Socks it to right. Shy of the track, Gary Matthews Jr. has it. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 5th inning. Good to keep Jermaine Dye to a dull roar in this one. 0 for 3.
We were talking about Ron Mayhay and how Ron deserves to have his name mentioned when you talk about all the outstanding right-handers in the bullpen late in the ball game. He's working on 5 1/3 scoreless innings over his last 6 outings coming into the game. And hitters hitting a 158 average over 18 games. So he's been at the top of his game, an 0.99 ERA over his last 27 innings. He's been just about untouchable.
Well, we mentioned Ron used to pitch for these Oakland Athletics. 1999 and the year 2000. Ground ball over to Mark Teixeira off the bat of Hatteberg. 2 away. Mayhay, originally from just outside Chicago, was a Red Sox 18th round pick. That was as an outfielder. It wasn't until 1996, 4 years after he was picked out of college as an outfielder, that he started to pitch, and he'd already made it to the big leagues as a hitter. But then after that 1995 season, he wanted a new challenge.
I think it was a little more than wanting a new challenge. I think he wanted a big league career and sensed that he wasn't going to have one as a hitter. And so he made a good choice. He always had a good arm as an outfielder. And I don't know whether it was his idea, should ask him that, or whether it was suggested to him by somebody that he go to the mound. But obviously he made the right decision. He seems to get better and better with each appearance. More confidence. Fastball seems to have more velocity this year by a couple of miles an hour. He's been as high as 94, 95 miles an hour on occasion. Good slider, good splitter, and really good control and command of his pitches.
1-1 to Durazo is raked into right field. That's a base hit. Matthews scoops it up, and Rubio Durazo now 2 for 3. Well, the A's have won 5 in a row, as we've mentioned a couple of times. And the thing that I guess you sometimes forget about the Oakland A's, you know, since the year 2000, they've got 448 wins. Only the Yankees have more. They've got 449. It is that close. Seattle had the one season where they had 116 wins, but obviously they don't have too many this year, and they've fallen rather precipitously in one season. With the A's, pretty much every year this millennium, somewhere in between 90 and 97 wins very consistently. A couple times up over 100. Every year they lose a major component. Miguel Tejada, for example, replaced by this guy, Bobby Crosby. Runner goes, and the throw by Barajas is there too late. Rubio Durazo, not known as a stolen base guy, but there he is getting into scoring position.
Well, you pick your spots as a base runner sometimes, and without the speed, if you pick your spots, I mean, he had a small lead and a mediocre jump, but he took advantage of a high throw and slid in. Now he's in scoring position in a tie game. Not much to lose in that situation. If Durazo's thrown out, you have Crosby and Burns leading off the next inning, which is not a bad situation. You got 2 good hitters with speed. And now Crosby's got a chance to drive in a run. So that's a good time to run, really, whether the guy's a base stealer or not.
It's only his 6th stolen base in 500 big league ball games. 3rd this year. Oh, who says the money ball A's don't run, huh? Durazo goes. Crosby fights one out of play foul. Still 2-2. All right, when do you figure, I guess in what year, Tom, will people stop talking about the book Moneyball regarding the Oakland A's? About 2007?
I don't have any idea.
Three and 2 the count.
I think the Moneyball book has some very interesting topics. Very well written book, and I think there's a place for a lot of the theories in any organization, but it's not the kind of a theory that you can put into place and use it as the only way you build a team.
Crosby is out of there. Ron Mayhay gets him. 5-5 tie. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Well, as we come back live, Justin Dukeshire had gone out there assuming that he was going to be pitching to the Rangers in the bottom of the 5th. He took a couple of warm-up throws, called for the trainer again. The second time Larry Davis has gone out there, and whatever it is, that's going to be the end of the night for the former Ranger Justin Dukeshire. Chris Hammond is in the bullpen, and we're going to see him. The Rangers will get to face a new challenge here after Sarlos and after Dukeshire. We'll tell you about the new Oakland Athletics pitcher in a moment. Our score is 5-5 for the first of a 4-game series on KDFI 27. Ken Mock has been busy. He got Kirk Sarlos, the starter, out of there after 2 1/3 innings of 7-hit baseball. Then Justin Dukeshire came on and was pretty effective, but now he's injured. And we don't know exactly what the problem is. All we know is that he's out. And we know that Chris Hammond, Tom, hasn't pitched at the big league level in 48 days.
It really appeared that Dukeshire's back was what was sore. When Larry Davis, the trainer, went out the first time, he kind of rubbed in the middle of his back, and you could tell that Dukeshire was having a hard time bending over when he would pick up the rosin bag. He didn't really bend over at the waist. He bent at the knees to reach down and get it. And to his credit, he made a lot of good pitches early in his appearance. He couldn't get his curveball down, but later on in the appearance, he was having a pretty pretty good time of getting his curveball down, throwing strikes with it, and pitching well. But I think it finally stiffened up on him to the point where he couldn't go on anymore.
And the veteran Hammond is summoned. He was just activated from the DL a couple of nights ago. He had been out for a while with a strained left shoulder. Made a few rehab starts at AAA. Now back in the big leagues facing Gary Matthews Jr., Eric Young, and David DeLucci here in a tie game 5th inning.
Now, Hammond's pitch is his changeup. He has a below average fastball, which really makes no difference in his repertoire. Jamie Moyer has a below average fastball too, but what Hammond has made his living with is an outstanding changeup.
He has come out of retirement with it. Really a pretty incredible story. 3 years ago, this guy was retired to Alabama at his self-made Southpaw Ranch is what he calls it. Out of retirement, commuting to Atlanta from eastern Alabama for a year. All he did was post an ERA of under 1 for the regular season. And that means that when the Yankees were looking for a lefty the year after that, Chris Hammond was suddenly on their radar. He goes from living a simple, quiet country life, retired in Alabama, to pitching for Mr. Steinbrenner in New York. Lays that one in there, 2-2. Matthews on base twice tonight, a single and a walk. Foul tip, grabbed by Melhuse, one away. I guess you can tell yourself to wait on that changeup tag, but easier said than done.
Well, you probably won't see many pitches over 84, 85 miles an hour. But you'll see some effective location, some effective change of speeds.
Eric Young twisting one foul. Ely still looking for his first home run as a Texas Ranger. And for that matter, as an American leaguer. It was on this date last year, Tommy hit his 15th of the season for Milwaukee, but then did not hit one the rest of the way. Maybe it'll go in reverse this year. The power will come on late for EY. The rest of the Rangers certainly have picked up the slack as they are second in the big leagues in home runs hit. And there he goes, jumping on one to left field. It is deep. It is off the wall. Eric Burns went crashing into the wall. Young is at second base with a double.
Well, Burns went after it hard, but boy, he went into the wall hard too. Looked like the wall snuck up on him a little bit.
There is almost an Eric Burns shaped cutout now in that wall in left field.
Eli gives it a ride to left center field. Makes a bid for his first home run. Now watch Burns. It's like he didn't know the wall was there. Never even slowed down. Never had time, I guess, to look at the wall to see where he was, but thank goodness there's padding on that wall. It's like getting blindsided by the wall.
David DeLucci takes a little bit outside. When you're an outfielder, Tom, I mean, obviously I'm thinking you feel the warning track right under your spikes, do you not?
Well, that's the design. Yeah, you feel it, but you know, it's still, you know, I've heard people say, describing the action, that an outfielder counts his steps and knows where the wall is. Well, I got to see the outfielder that's able to do that while you're tracking down a fly ball. I forget who I heard say that the other day. If you can count your steps while you're sprinting toward the wall and be able to track a fly ball down at the same time, I would be shocked. And I think what Burns just had such concentration on that ball going at full speed, probably knew he was on the warning track. He just didn't want to give in. He wanted to give it everything he had to catch that ball. And he's walking around out there. And I bet he's probably okay, but he has to be shaken up a little bit. I don't think you can smack into the middle of something that hard running that fast without being shaken up a little bit.
Well, out in right center field, for my money, is still the ultimate. Juan Encarnacion of the Tigers at this place about 4 or 5 years ago. You talk about a guy full throttle who never even, it seemed like it never dawned on him that there could be a wall out there. Barajas checks his swing, 2-0. What's the hardest you ever smacked into a wall?
I don't think I ever smacked into one quite as hard as Burns just smacked into one. But, you know, if you go back far enough, there was a time where none of the walls had padding on them. I mean, it's a rule now. You have to have pad. Anywhere where an outfielder or an infielder could run into a wall, there has to be padding. Although you go back 30 years ago, and while they're in the big leagues, there weren't cinder block walls. I played in a park in Spartanburg that the outfield fence was made out of cinder blocks. So, I mean, if you run into that, you could end up being out for a long time. A lot of the outfield fences were made out of plywood, and that was no fun to run into.
Well, that's the one that Rodney McRae once ran right through in Portland, Oregon. Plywood fence. Bang! You've probably seen that highlight.
Boy, if that thing was tied down, imagine what would have happened to Rodney McRae. They'd have been peeling him off that wall. It looked like a crime scene.
Outside, 3-0 the count to Barajas. Nix on deck. This game tied for now. Bottom of the 5th inning. At the 100-game mark of the season, here's a game where you say the winner of this particular ball game is in first place. Nice crowd on a Thursday night turning out, knowing full well what's on the line here. Inside, 2 on. And the Rangers now have drawn 3 walks in the game. They have come up with 9 hits.
I'm going to take a second to thank the cookie lady, Shirley Coast, for sending up a batch of cookies, and also Ruthie Ayler, who also sent cookies up to the booth. Thank you, ladies.
Ruthie's were nice. They were little baseball-shaped cookies. I know baseballs are shaped like a circle, and that's not a stretch, but she actually painted them up to look like baseballs with all the Rangers' numbers on them. Lefty to lefty, and Lance Nix takes up 2 high. This is a challenging at bat here for Lance. You got to figure. You got a lefty who does not throw hard. Little squiver up near third. It rolls foul. And had it stayed fair, it would have been good news, but that is simply a 1-1 count to Lance Nix.
Had too much spin on it to stay fair. He hit it right off the end of the bat. And even though it started out well in fair territory, it just rolled and kept spinning and eventually went foul. And Chavez knew that was going to happen. He waited for it. This will give you a great view of how fair it is right now and what's going to happen to it as soon as it hits the ground.
Very small sample for Lance this year in terms of facing left-hand pitching. He's 7 for 32. 1 home run. One thing Ranger fans know, and it looks like the rest of the league is starting to get a pretty good idea too. Against a right-hander with a good fastball, Lance Nix is all over it. But a different breed that he's got to deal with here. A lefty that throws slow. Lance 0 for 2 tonight, hitting the ball to the first baseman Hatteberg both times. He's got the count just where he wants it. 3-1. Michael Young on deck. Mike's already 3 for 3. Hammond deals, and Lance Nix takes a called strike. 3-2. 68 miles an hour. He's kind of dancing in there from the veteran lefty. Barajas will be on the move from first. Got him. Rangers strand a couple. And we go to the top of the 6th tonight in Arlington. A's 5 and the Rangers 5. Texas Ranger Baseball brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas, and by Southwest Airlines. Over 2,800 nonstop daily flights to 60 destinations all across the country. In a game that will determine first place at the 100-game mark for the Rangers. Tied at 5-5. Look at all the action early on. That first inning saw 4 home runs. McLemore and Chavez for the A's back-to-back. Soriano and Teixeira for the Rangers back-to-back. Things have calmed down considerably, though, since then. Both teams have gone to the bullpen. Here is Mayhay to Burns. Eric Burns and the left field wall had a little get-together about 5 or 6 minutes ago. Doesn't look like Burns is any worse for the wear. And the wall is fine. Tom, we got a couple of alert emailers that went and looked it up for us. How many times that 72 Ranger team actually did get shut out? And the answer is 22.
Jeez. That's a lot of shutouts. Stands to reason, though, when you've got a team batting average below 220, that you're going to get shut out quite a bit. And 56 home runs for the year.
1972. No Ranger hitting even 260 that year. No regular. Team ERA was still the best in franchise history. 3.53. Burns with a ground ball right to the shortstop, Michael Young. You know what's funny, though? 3.53 for a team ERA back then. Though that is the best ERA for the Rangers in franchise history. That was dead last in the American League in 1972. The year before the DH came in. How things have changed. The Oakland A's have a team ERA this year of 4.02. That is first in the American League. About 30 years ago, 3.5 was last. We are turning back the clocks not to 1972 but to 1974 tomorrow and Saturday. Rangers will be wearing vintage 1974 style uniforms, and according to the A's, Tom, I thought they were going to wear their throwback Kelly green. They're going to wear their Fort Knox gold. Those bright yellow jerseys, apparently. The throwback jerseys Friday and Saturday here in Arlington. And don't forget that after the game Saturday, a shirt off your back promotion, shirt off the Rangers' backs. Your chance to bid and to win one of those autographed Ranger shirts. Oh, come on back, Mr. Melhuse. 3-2. I think R.A. Dickey is sitting there thinking, wait a minute.
I think he's probably been thinking that and maybe had it reinforced.
That one is down too low. Adam Melhuse is on with 1 out. The A's, just like the Angels yesterday, seems like a lot of their rallies starting with 1 out. Top of the order, Mark Kotsay coming up. Kotsay held in check so far tonight. Couple of ground ball outs and a walk. He will loop this one to shallow left. Young is back. DeLucci on. Young makes the call on the catch. Tom, did you see where at the gathering of all the living Hall of Famers in Cooperstown, a lot of the guys were asked if you could trade your past for somebody's future, who would it be? Paul Molitor said, I'd go with Michael Young.
Wow.
That's some pretty high praise right there.
That's sad. I guess Alex Rodriguez would be the obvious one, and he was going against the grain.
I asked Mike if he had heard that before the game, and his eyes got real wide. He said, yeah, pretty cool, huh? Molitor now the hitting coach for the Mariners. So he has seen Michael Young up close this year.
The A's left-hand hitters hit left-handed pitching pretty well. We mentioned Chavez at 327. Durazo had a hit against Mayhay. He's at 280. Hatterberg 287. Kotsay 314. The left-handed pitchers don't have too much of an effect on their left-hand hitters. But Ron Mayhay is not a left-handed specialist. He's a guy that's throwing so well. He can come in and face all right-handed hitters and have a lot of success. Ron's got pitches to counteract guys from both sides of the plate. Left-hand hitters hit 226 against Ron. Right-handers only 245. Not much of a differential there.
A couple of real finds for the Rangers last year. You talk about bringing in Brian Schaus and Ron Mayhay. It was kind of a wide net that was cast. The Rangers looking for a veteran lefty that maybe they could use in the bullpen. They found 2. They were real keepers.
And Erasmo Ramirez did a real nice job. He's back in the big leagues now. They've had a lot of success with those type of guys.
McLemore skies one to right. Gary Matthews is going to grab it. Ron Mayhay pitching very well again. The Rangers will come up in the bottom of the 6th, trying to recapture the lead. It's a 5-5 tie right now. Time for the Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic. The jackpot worth $600 tonight. Those tickets to a Ranger game and dinner for 2 at Sonic. The Rangers hitting for William J. Dunlap of Greenville, Texas. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, we will, for the 2nd time this month, give out $25,000. You can register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. The Rangers and A's tonight tied 5-5. Top of the order up for the Rangers in the bottom of the 6th against Chris Hammond. What a night for Michael Young tonight. A night after we had feared that maybe that wrist was going to be a problem for him. Apparently not. 3 for 3 tonight. Stolen base and the usual fine defense. Down the right side, foul. Just to reinforce what we talked about at the start of the game, the Rangers with that great home record this year, 30 wins, 14 losses. And they settle in for 4 in a row against this Oakland team. It's just a half game back. In the meantime, the A's have gone 7-20 in their last 27 road games. But they are in tonight with a 5-game win streak, doing some of that damage against the Rangers. Strike 3 called. Mike Young with a parting comment for Hunter Wendelstedt.
For that cut fastball that Wendelstedt ruled was on the inside part of the plate. Michael would disagree with that. We get a wide assortment of pitches from Hammond. You can float that thing in there at all sorts of different speeds, anywhere from 66 to 81 or 82. Looked like his changeup. Fastball a few miles an hour higher than that. 85, probably around what you'll see for his fastball at the highest. Struck Lance Nix out with a pretty good slider, it looked like, or a cut fastball, breaking down a little bit out of the strike zone. And then floated in at 65. You don't see many guys like this. I mean, you would think that the slower it is, the easier it is to hit. That's not always the case with big league hitters. You get geared up to see a certain speed. An average fastball is probably 90 miles an hour. And so you're pretty much geared up around that area. And when you get a guy tossing a variety of speeds from 65 to 85, tosses you off a little bit.
Erasmo Ramirez is a great example of that for the Rangers.
Yeah, he would be our version of Hammond.
Except he doesn't have a farm in Alabama.
Not that we know of.
Does have a nice place in Southern California, though.
Chris Hammond never worked at Rex Hudler's house either.
No. That we know of. 2-2 pitch. Little flare in back at third base. Chavez and Crosby in pursuit. Chavez has got it in foul ground. Well, Hammond has come on, allowed only one hit. That was to Eric Young back in the 5th inning. We got an email, Tom. I got to pass this along, and we should clear this up. I mean, I kind of giggle, but it is confusing. Somebody writing us saying it seems like Eric and Eli are used interchangeably for Mr. Young. Is Eli, E-L-I, Eric's middle name or nickname, or what is that? We're not saying Eli. It's E-Y. E period Y is in yak period for Eric Young, which is a nickname he's had for a long time. You're not calling him Eli, are you?
No, you think I'm Elmer Fudd? I have enough problems pronouncing other words. I can get EY, though. Or Eli.
E period Y period. EY. Soriano, a soaring fly ball to left field.
We almost waited long enough on that. Tried to, but a little bit out in front of it.
And the Rangers down in order. The bullpens have settled in nicely here. Still 5-5 at the end of 6. A lot of zeros after a very quick start for both these teams tonight. The Oakland A's and Texas Rangers beginning a 4-game series at AmeriQuest Field in Arlington. Ron Mayhay came on for R.A. Dickey in the 4th inning. And so far, so good, Mr. Grieve. Just one single. That was by Arubio Durazo. Eric Chavez up there now. Our game within the game was about R.A. Dickey.
Well, it worked out well to the 2 hitters that we highlighted. Jermaine Dye, Mark Kotze were both 0 for 2 against R.A. But the rest of the team had some success, and R.A. had a short outing. We've mentioned that R.A. had struggled against the A's in the past, particularly against Dye and Kotze. Well, tonight he got Dye and Kotze, but some of the other guys posed some problems for him.
Outside corner to Chavez. He was one of the guys you're talking about, Tom. Eric Chavez and Mark McLemore hitting back-to-back pitches for home runs in the 1st inning. One slice of early good news we can pass along. The Mariners got 3 in the 1st inning in Anaheim tonight. Seattle's got a 15-game road losing streak, but they're up early. Chavez down on strikes. What a night for Ron Mayhay on a night where the Rangers really needed that.
Yeah, and again, it shouldn't be a surprise the way Ron has pitched. 3 earned runs coming into the game in 27 innings. It'd be 3 in over 30 innings when this outing is over. Hopefully. He gets Chavez with a good slider down and away after throwing him a 90-plus fastball right on the outside corner. Ron just pitching with a lot of confidence right now, with good command of his pitches, not making a lot of mistakes, keeping the ball down and throwing 3 quality pitches.
The A's had him, but then they sold him to the Florida Marlins. Wasn't really much of a test drive for Ron with the A's in 2000. 5 weeks into the season, he had pitched in only 5 games. Went on to the Marlins and really didn't distinguish himself there. He moved along to San Diego, to the Cubs, was released by the Cubs at the end of 2002. The Rangers picked him up heading into 2003. That ball jacked foul by Jermaine Dye. Some other AL scores, Tom. Detroit 3-2 over the White Sox. That's the final. Ugi Urbina, who's rumored to be on the trade block, save number 16. This ball is foul, barely.
Oh,
right near the chalk.
that was close.
Ron Washington, the A's third base coach, did a little double take. So did Ken Maka, but Tim Timmons said that is a foul ball.
Well, let's just take a look. Look at this ball hook. Sure looks fair now, but it looks foul when it hits the ground. He was right on. No one had a better view than he did. He was right on top of it. Yeah, the White Sox now have lost 5 in a row. It's been a bad week for them. They've lost 5 and Minnesota's won 4.
Ground ball along to Eric Young. Loads up and fires to get Jermaine Dye.
Been a big turnaround in 5 days in the Central. Minnesota now with a 4-game lead.
And the Cleveland Indians seem to be as much in the mix as the Chicago White Sox right now.
Well, Cleveland's 2 games over 500.
You and I have talked about that. If they had any kind of bullpen at all.
Yeah, I'm sure they're in the market for a closer. It's just a matter of what they're willing to give up to get one.
Well, Jose Mesa's out there. Eddie Guardado possibly. Ugi Urbina. The Rangers, and it's not exactly a news bulletin. They're figuring out if there's a starting pitcher that can be had, but only for the right price, only for the right exchange of talent. One thing the Rangers have said outright they are not going to do is gut this very strong farm system just to get a guy who's only going to be a Ranger for 8 or 9 weeks. Mayhay lays one in there to Hatteberg. 1-2. Carlos Almanzar has been warming up in the Ranger bullpen, but man, Ron Mayhay hasn't needed anybody to help him out. There's Jim Messier for the A's. I wonder if the Red Sox still have a run in them, Tom. They're 8 games behind the Yankees. Obviously a lot of emotion from that come from behind game that included the benches clearing brawl, but it's still 8 games and you still got to catch the Yankees.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a run left at the Yankees. We'll see, but they certainly are still in the wild card race. That's a team with a lot of character, so they'll certainly be a factor coming down the stretch, at least in the wild card.
Boy, bravo for Ron Mayhay tonight, huh? It stays 5-5 at the 7th inning stretch in Arlington. Seventh inning stretch tied at 5-5. Folks, a Ranger player could autograph and present you with the retro 1974 jersey they'll be wearing in Saturday's game. Bid on the jerseys at the Rangers Foundation auction table near the home plate gate tomorrow or Saturday, or bid by phone until Saturday at 3 in the afternoon. 817-273-5287 is how you get that done. Real nice crowd on what's turned out to be a real nice night weather-wise. After all the wet weather yesterday, the Rangers and the A's to the bottom of the 7th, and a new pitcher to tell you about, Jim Messier, the owner of a screwball. Mark Teixeira hits it in the air to center. On the very first pitch he sees from Messier, it is way up there. And finally captured by Kotze.
Pretty excellent hang time right there. Jim Messier got off to a little bit of a slow start. He's been pitching well lately. In fact, the whole A's bullpen has been terrific coming into the game. They hadn't given up a run in 13 2/3 consecutive innings. And over their last 14 games and 37 innings, their ERA was 0.73. And they've pitched 3-4 innings in this game. They haven't given up a run. The bullpen, real strong suit for the A's recently.
Just before the All-Star break, a lot of the whispers around the American League were, man, if the A's have an undoing this year. It's going to be that bullpen.
I think their guys out in the bullpen are answering that.
Yeah.
You know, and Dotel looked a little shaky when he first came over. He's retired 23 of the last 24 batters he's faced, so he's answering the challenge too. Of course, they've got the excellent starting rotation. You put that bullpen with them, and they're a definite team to be contended with.
The Rangers will not face the A's ace in this 4-game series. Mark Mulder pitched yesterday, but then again, the A's won't face the Rangers ace. Kenny Rogers pitched yesterday and pitched very well on the 10th anniversary of his perfect game.
And one of the reasons the A's bullpen is in such good shape for this ball game was Mulder pitched a complete game yesterday. They didn't have to get up.
Mulder getting his major league leading 14th win in that 3-2 victory against Seattle. Kenny Rogers outdueled by John Lackey yesterday, a 2-0 final. Rangers losing back-to-back games by that same score. Whoa, look out. 2-2. With nobody on base, that is simply ball 2.
It's just a ball. You miss by 3 feet, you miss by an inch.
Starting to rain a little bit all of a sudden here in Ameriquest Field in Arlington, a light drizzle. Matthews takes right there, strike 3 called. And again, the bullpens have been the story in this game, both sides.
That's one of those fastballs that starts out inside and then has just enough tailing action to catch the inside corner. And look at the 3 relievers the Rangers have faced tonight. Justin Duxer, Chris Hammond, Jim Messier. All of them have a specialty pitch. Duxer, an excellent curveball. Hammond, an excellent changeup. And Messier, one of the few guys that really throws a true screwball. Guys will throw a pitch that maybe tails away, but he actually throws what I guess you would call a reverse curveball. He spins the ball the opposite way, and it breaks like a left-handed curveball. There's a look at it right there.
He says he learned the screwball from former big leaguer Rich Folkers, who was he was a coach at Eckerd College at the time, but Rich used to pitch with the Padres, I guess.
There's a couple of guys with really good screwballs back in the 70s. Mike Cuellar had a great screwball, 20-game winner for the Orioles. John Hiller, the bullpen closer for the Tigers, had I guess his was more of a changeup, but it tailed away from right-hand hitters. You don't see many of them. And maybe Mike Marshall had as famous a screwball as anybody.
He was one of the few righties that would throw that pitch. Ely draws the walk. Fernando Valenzuela had a screwball.
Yes, he did.
He threw that pretty well.
He had a good one.
They say that pitch was introduced originally, Tom, way back when by Christy Mathewson. He called it the fadeaway.
I like those names that they used to have in the old days. The fadeaway. They used to call the overhand curveball the drop ball. You don't hear any.
The drop
no one
ball.
calls it a drop ball. That's the one that goes. I guess they refer to now the 12-6 curveball that goes straight down.
Yeah, if you holler out, throw him the old drop ball.
Throw him the old dipsy doodle.
Just when you say, give him the old high hard one now, people look at you kind of funny. I mean, it's supposed to be gas now. It's supposed to be heat.
Cheese.
Queso. And the screwball, you know, you hear it called the Scroogey. But other than that, it is what it is. It's the screwball.
I like fadeaway. I'm going to start using that.
All right. He's got a really good fadeaway. Sounds like a jump shot.
Eli could be going right here.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Situation tie game.
Still a very light drizzle right now. Certainly wouldn't think it would interfere with anybody who wants to try and run right now.
He's
Outside
thinking
corner.
about it. He's kind of practicing his jump. Took a little step towards second. He had a pretty good sized lead. I think it's about time to make a call right here, Josh.
You think?
I think DeLucci goes into double digits right here.
Now, he'd love you for making that call. 3 for his last 29, trying to break out of a slump. DeLucci tends to hit his home runs in clumps. He has had a pair of 2 home run games this year. And normally that's the kind of guy that's going to have 20 or 25 home runs by now, but he's got 9. EY's going. DeLucci takes, and the throw down is not going to be in time. It gets away, and EY had a thought about getting up, but then he tripped.
Well, that's a situation where I'm sure the A's were aware that EY would like to run there. They've got a good pitch to go on. Tough pitch for Melhuse to handle. Has a big lead. Nasir couldn't keep him any closer than that. And then he throws a little bit offline, and EY's in there pretty easily. Now he's in scoring position where he can score on a single.
You're still greedy enough to look for the home run, though,
oh, yeah,
right?
Yeah.
All right.
Can't go back on your call.
They're starting to rain a little bit harder now as count goes to 2-1 on DeLucci. Adam Melhuse to go out there and plot a little strategy here, maybe make sure that EY is not trying to peek in there from second base.
Adam Melhuse is obviously not aware that the visiting catcher cannot go to the mound.
I beg your pardon?
Did you hear our fans boo when he went out there? Now, the home catcher can go out there as often as he wants. The visiting catcher must stay behind home plate unless he's at home.
I was scrambling for your official baseball rule book.
I was just going on the reaction of the crowd.
What is that, 13.78J?
That's one of the unofficial rules. That, and you can only throw to first base once or twice.
Yeah.
Anything more than that, you're going to get booed.
Unless you're the home team
Unless
pitcher.
you're the home team, then you can do it all you want.
Hitters count here for DeLucci, 3-1. He takes a walk. Rod Barajas coming up next.
Well, it looked like he was pitching with first base open. Looked like Nasir was pitching around DeLucci. Now Rod Barajas has a chance, and boy, Rod's had a lot of big hits for the Rangers.
A lot of them late.
Game-winning line drive right down the right field line to win a game. Game-winning home run to left field. He's not afraid of this situation. He likes being in it.
Although I don't know how much he's going to like facing Chad Bradford. That would appear to be the move. That drop-down righty can be summoned. Chad Bradford has never really pitched that well in this ballpark, though, and you hope that that haunts him as he prepares to come on. Barajas, the scheduled batter. The rain picking up. 5-5, bottom of the 7th. And we'll come right back on KDFI 27. In what is now a pretty steady rain, a 5-5 tie, the A's and the Rangers, first place on the line tonight. Chad Bradford is going to be out there now for the Athletics. 5 home runs allowed this year, and that's a pretty hefty total for him.
Well, we're talking about how well the A's bullpen has pitched, and Bradford's been a part of that. He got all 6 Rangers on Sunday, and he's had 12 consecutive outs over his last 2 outings, so he's on a good streak. He's pitched much better at home this year than he has on the road. In fact, his ERA at home is about 3, and on the road it's 6.5. So he's on a good streak, but he hasn't pitched as well on the road. Let's see what happens. Same with the A's. They're on a good streak. They haven't played as well on the road.
In the rain here, Tom, we note that the crew chief is Bruce Fremming out there at second base, and part of the scouting report on Bruce Fremming is it's got to be raining like cats and dogs for him to order the teams off the field. No sign of any stoppage in play right here. The rain not serious enough yet. 2 on, 2 out. Nix moves on deck. Barajas at the plate. Hard hit. Crosby's got it. Going to second base. And Bradford with 1 pitch is out of the inning. The Rangers have stranded 9 now. And this game has been 5-5 since the top of the 4th. That's where we are at the end of 7th. In the 8th inning, Carlos Almanzar will be the new Ranger pitcher. R.A. Dickey started, went 3 2/3, gave up 5 runs. But boy, what a job by Ron Mayhay. He went the next 3 1/3 innings. And now Almanzar for the 44th time this year.
Yeah, after 2 innings, it did not look like it would be this kind of a game, but a lot of credit to both bullpens. Both bullpens have come in a hitter's ballpark on a day when it looked like hitting was in order and shut down both offenses. And now it's up to Carlos Almanzar. He's had 7 straight scoreless outings.
Working around the rain, these fans, 31,000 strong. Almanzar will face Durazo, Crosby, and Burns, 6, 7, 8 in the order. And the Rangers, you look forward to this. Lance Nix will lead off the bottom of the 8th. There's Durazo. He hits it well. Lance Nix is going after it. Will not get it. It's by him. And all the way to the base of the wall. Durazo going to second with a leadoff double. Well, those short arms, that quick stroke. Arubiel Durazo punching it over Nix. And Durazo 3 for 4 tonight.
Well, Durazo's having a good year. Durazo has knocked in 13 runs in the last couple of weeks, so he's been productive driving in runs, and he's hitting over 300. Always been a high on base percentage. Last year his average was down, his walks were up. He walked 100 times. This year his average is way up and his walks are down. Either way, he's a 370, 380 on base percentage guy. He was a definite threat at the plate. Good hitter. Better hitter this year than he was last year, really.
No, he was the only guy that got a hit off Ron Mayhay tonight, and now leading off against Almanzar. In the rain. Runner at second base on the Durazo double.
They have to think there's a chance that Crosby would bunt right here. Last couple of innings, tie ball game. Definitely want to get the runner over, so he has a choice. Can I hit a ground ball to the right side, or should I bunt to get him over? Sometimes the manager leaves it up to the hitter. Sometimes he tells him what he wants him to do.
And the rain really picking up now. There's a bunt. It's in the air and grabbed by Barajas. A big play.
That's a big play. Looked like Crosby was trying to bunt the ball to the right side of the infield. In that situation, maybe I'm wrong, you definitely want to bunt it down the third baseline. Let's see. And he just jabs at it. Looked like he's trying to bunt it to first base.
Fans are scrambling for cover. Now the players are too, Tom. Even Bruce Fleming is going to say this is too much rain to continue for now. Almanzar is ordered off the mound.
I wonder if they've gotten some word that it's going to rain harder. It seems to be getting slightly harder by the minute. But I think if they had the weather forecast that it was not going to get harder, they might try to keep playing. It's steady. Not what you'd call a downpour right now, but I guess they don't want to take a chance that it becomes a downpour.
Well, the rain had stayed away all night. We saw a passing shower a couple hours before the game, but that was it. But now they're going to have to get that tarp unrolled. And what a spot. 5-5 game in the 8th inning.
Well, the Rangers really got a break right there. Bobby Crosby trying to sacrifice bunt, popped it up to the catcher. So Durazo will stay at second base with 1 out. Still in scoring position and still only 1 out when we resume play.
I've got the local Doppler fired up here, Tom. It looks like a very small cell. It goes back to around Fort Worth, if that.
Sounds like we'll be playing some baseball in just a little while.
In the meantime, though, we have alternate programming for you. How'd you like to see those crazy, wacky, madcap doctors? How'd you like to see the little
MASH? I thought you were going to say those wild and crazy guys. Well, settle for MASH.
That's Aykroyd and Steve Martin. We just have Alan Alda instead for a half an hour. 5-5 tie, and we'll come back and hopefully play ball after MASH. Texas 5 and Oakland 5, and we will play ball again here in the 8th inning. Carlos Almanzar on the mound. And that is where we left off in a 5-5 tie. And a rain delay of a half an hour is all but done. A lot of the crowd is still hanging around. That's good news. They have seen quite a ball game so far. Texas 5 and Oakland 5, and we will play ball again here in the 8th inning. Carlos Almanzar on the mound, and that is where we left off in a 5-5 tie. And a rain delay of a half an hour is all but done. A lot of the crowd is still hanging around. That's good news. They have seen quite a ball game so far. It's a game that started out 2-0 in favor of the A's, quickly went to 3-2 Rangers. And yeah, if you missed the first inning, you missed a lot of home run hitting. We'll show you what you missed if you're just joining us now. McLemore and Chavez back-to-back R.A. Dickey pitches to make it 2-0. But then, Tom, the Rangers able to fire right back after McLemore and Chavez.
Well, they did, and they answered quickly. Alfonso Soriano with a 2-run homer after Michael Young had led off with a single. Makes it 2-2. And Mark Teixeira right after that follows up with one of his own. Make it 3-2 Rangers in the first inning. Looks like there are going to be a lot of fireworks after that first inning, but the bullpens for both teams have really settled down. Dukeshire, Hammond, Messier, Bradford, Mayhay, and now Almanzar for the Rangers have thrown up zeros.
Almanzar was greeted, though, by a double from Arubiel Durazo. He's at second base. Bobby Crosby popped up trying to bunt in the rain. And that leaves it to Eric Burns now. Runner at second base and one out. Adam Melhuse will follow. And the Rangers in the bottom of the 8th inning will have up Nix, Young, and Blaylock, setting up the home run hitters of the night, Soriano and Teixeira. So after a rain delay of half an hour, and we hope you enjoyed that episode of MASH. I think it was the heartwarming one, Tom, the one where they, you know, kind of traded wisecracks and then decried the war. And
oh, that one.
Yeah, it all wrapped up nicely at the end. There's a strike. Almanzar to Burns, and the rain delay of 30 minutes. Actually, 32 minutes.
You know what you really have to do, Josh, when you come back after a rain delay like this with a man on second, 8th inning, a tie game, you really have to come back and concentrate. I think the tendency is to go out there almost like it's the start of the game, but you really have to come back with concentration and a sense of urgency, because even though you've been off the field for 45 minutes or so, the game's on the line right now, and you don't want to lose that intensity that was there before the rain delay. That's the same for both teams. Both teams are in the same position there.
Almanzar has come on and done nothing but throw strikes. He gets ahead of Burns, 0-2. Everything's even. 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors both ways. Each team, as we mentioned, hit a couple of first inning home runs. Each team has relied heavily on the bullpen tonight. Check swing. Did he go? No, says Mike Winters.
Good call. His hands were way out, but the head of the bat was behind. And it was definitely a check swing and a good call by Mike Winters.
The 1-2. And we'll do it again.
Got away with one there.
By the way, on the out-of-town scoreboard, Tom, Anaheim trailing Seattle 5-1 in the 4th inning. Seattle doing what the Rangers could not do the last couple nights. That score runs against the Angels.
Yeah, they didn't have to face Cologne and John Lackey, though, or you'd be seeing a 0 up there for them, too.
Another 1-2 pitch is popped into the infield. Almanzar points it out. Barajas makes the catch. In fact, Rob Barajas is responsible for collecting a couple of pop-outs in the 8th inning.
Back-to-back foul pop-ups to the catcher. Very rare in a baseball game.
Very rare indeed.
Good pitch by Almanzar.
And Barajas saying, hey, don't be afraid to get out of the way there.
Well, Rod battled him, but he made the catch.
Adam Melhuse will come up, lefty swinger here. Single and a walk tonight. Little looper. Eric Young going back. This ball's going to fall. The number 9 hitter comes through. It is 6-5 A's, and doesn't that break your heart?
He got the ball up and in on Melhuse. He jammed him. Full swing, little blooper, but very effective. Did not hit it hard enough to get to center, but hit it hard enough to get over second base. I don't think that's exactly where he was trying to throw the ball, but all it was a little blooper that will score Durazo.
Oh, what an absolute shame. After the leadoff double and a couple of foul outs, now the top of the order, Katse, and he has moved off the plate. It hit him. Barely, but it hit him. Now Almanzar is going to have to stare down McLemore, who's had a huge night. Boy, it's a blousy uniform, and that's the only reason that Katse is standing on first base right now. If he's wearing that like Jose Canseco, skin tight, that is simply ball one. Wow, so post rain delay. The Melhuse bloop single, now the hit by pitch. And the A's have taken the lead at 6-5 here in the 8th inning.
Well, the A's have been winning a lot of games like this, games that have been seesaw affairs close into the late innings. And then with the way their bullpen has been shutting down the other team, they've just battled until they could peck away and get a run and win a ball game.
On the outside edge here, ball and a strike to McLemore. McLemore had a huge 2-out hit after Katse reached in the 4th inning. Bases loaded, 2 strikes, 2 out. McLemore just going opposite field, barely escaping Michael Young at short, and 2 runs came in. Clubs this one foul. It's 1-2. And the Rangers have had their issues with this Oakland team this year, Tom. They are 3-6. They will need to rally to avoid 3-7. On the ground, first base, and there's Mark Teixeira. Almanzar is out of the inning, but Adam Melhuse, the backup catcher, the number 9 hitter, had a bloop single to make it 6-5. Nix, Young, and Blaylock coming up when we come back.
I got a Blazer. When I turned 16, I was in high school. I got a Blazer. It was forest green.
Just like the Philadelphia Eagles, his favorite NFL football team. Kevin Mensch grabbing life by the horns, brought to you by Dodge, where we grab life by the horns every day. The Rangers have rallied a couple times in this game. They're going to need to do it again. Kevin Mensch not in the starting lineup tonight. Lance Nix is. Nix coming up there against the sidewinding right-hander Chad Bradford. And suddenly Bradford online for a win. But Tom, we had mentioned earlier, Bradford does not have a real strong history in this ballpark. If you look up and down his resume at all the ballparks in which he's ever pitched, by far this is the one that has beaten him up.
Well, he came in last inning with Eric Young and DeLucci on first and second. Both of them had walked. Got Rod Barajas to hit into a force out at shortstop. They got a key out when he needed it.
Well, for the A's, it's been some key 2-out hits. McLemore in the 4th, Melhuse in the 8th. The Rangers got a couple of home runs in the 1st inning and ended up with 3 runs total. They got a couple of 2-out hits of their own in the 2nd inning. Blaylock an RBI double, Soriano an RBI single. There's a ground ball to McLemore at second. 1 up, 1 down here in the 8th inning. And Lance's struggles continue. 0 for 4 tonight, 3 for his last 33. Michael Young 3 for 4 though tonight. The A's have Ricardo Rincon getting ready in the bullpen. It's probably for Hank Blaylock after Young. Young nails it but foul down the right side. 0-1 to him. After the Rangers have been shut down tight in Anaheim the last couple nights, getting no runs on 4 hits total in 2 games. It seemed like they had left that behind them, Tag, in the first 2 innings, getting 5 runs on 7 hits. But since that second inning, it's been no runs on 2 hits. Young had one of those hits. It was in the 4th inning leading off. He stole second, but the Rangers could not get him in. And again, you see Mike trying to take it to the right side, but again, he flips it foul. Tomorrow, Sam Narron makes his major league debut. 15th round pick of the Rangers a couple of years ago, going up against Rich Harden, who was pitching some unbelievable baseball lately. Got him. 2 down, 8th inning.
Well, Rincon is warmed up, and we'll see what Ken Maka wants to do, whether or not he's going to lead Bradford in. Bradford's throwing fine. 3 up, 3 down.
No appearance from Maka out of the dugout yet. Looks like Bradford against Blaylock.
Left-hand hitters have hit almost 300 against Bradford. Right-hand hitters 227, so there is a differential here.
Well, Hank Blaylock, one of those Rangers that seems to have a knack for getting a big hit late. He has had a game-winning 8th inning home run a couple of times this year. Game-tying 8th inning home run wouldn't be bad right here.
That was a little bit low.
And just a bit outside.
He tried to get him to hit a ground ball by throwing him a ground ball.
His knuckles almost scraping the ground there as he brought that in.
That is a pitch I've never seen before. Let's see what it looks like from the side view. Whoops.
I don't think Hank's ever seen that one either.
Only guy I know that could hit that is Vladimir Guerrero.
Yeah, he might have tried to also.
Could have lined it into right field for a base hit.
Hank works it to 2-1. Soriano on deck. And the Rangers now trailing following the rain delay here in the 8th inning. Hank looking to drive one, but he pops it into center field. Chad Bradford does his job. He has faced 4 Rangers, and they have all gone down. So we go to the 9th with the A's on top 6-5. Rangers did a bunch of scoring early. They've been shut down since then, and the A's now on top 6-5 as we go to the 9th, the first in a 4-game series. And we'll play a little what-if here, Mr. Grieve. Okay. If the Rangers sweep, things are beautiful. If the A's sweep, things are not nearly as rosy. The series split, check the bottom there. The Rangers would simply be where they are right now. It's a half a game on top of Oakland.
And when you're playing head up like that, each game seems like it counts 2 games.
Buck Showalter goes to the bullpen again here in the 9th inning. Brian Schaus with some lefties coming up, starting with Eric Chavez.
If the Rangers win tonight, they have a 1.5 game lead. If they lose, they're a half a game behind.
One of those 2-game swings they tell you about.
Yep.
Chavez belting one to right field. That is a fair ball. Man, Eric Chavez is all of a sudden creaming left-hand pitching.
I mean, that's a dramatic overnight turnaround. I'd love to talk to Eric and find out if he's doing anything different or if it's just a matter of maturity, but really, if you wanted to try to find a weakness in his game the last 3 years, it would be what he hits against left-handed pitching.
I tried to engage him in that exact conversation in Oakland. He just kind of made that little wrinkly face, you know, like when you smell a bad piece of cheese or some such thing. I was going to say something else. I didn't think it was appropriate.
Well, you might as well have said it.
No, I understand. I couldn't really come up with anything else. Anyway, he said, well, now I'm not hitting righties. I mean, as if to say, you know, my batting average is still basically where it always is, around 270.
I think sometimes players don't like to talk about that stuff because in their mind, if they talk about it, it might jinx them. But I think Eric he's a lifetime well above 300 hitter against right-handers. If all of a sudden he becomes a 300 hitter against lefties, he raises his batting average by over 20 points and the production right along with it.
Jermaine Dye takes down and outside. Everybody working on a short amount of sleep. You were of no help trying to come up with an alternate item to smell there. I
was just enjoying watching you sit out there and sweat it out. You started it.
I know. We're going to go ahead and donate first base to Jermaine Dye after it got to 2-0. Scott Hatteberg coming up, and again, they'd rather go lefty-lefty. You've got Hatteberg and Durazo, a couple lefty swingers coming up in a row. Orel Hershiser will go to the mound. It'll be interesting to see how the A's want to play it here. Scott Hatteberg, normally a guy that does all the little things very well. Do you ask him to do the little thing here and bunt it?
Well, we've talked about their left-handed hitters. Their left-handed hitters in the lineup tonight don't seem to be intimidated at all by left-handed pitching. And Hatteberg's about a 290 hitter against lefties, so if Ken Maka decides to have him swing the bat, you certainly couldn't argue with that. He's hit lefties pretty well. If he chose to move him around with a bunt, then you set it up for Durazo, who's a 300 hitter against lefties. So you can kind of go either way.
And I would think, Tom, here's where the whole Moneyball book oversimplification comes in. It's not that the premise of the book is never bunt. I mean, in a situation like this, I think everybody's thinking that, I mean, certainly it makes sense. If it's 6-5 and you're looking for one insurance run for Octavio Dotel, I don't think that's what they were trying to say in the book, that, you know, you quote never bunt.
No, I don't think so either.
And indeed, Hatteberg has a couple of sacrifice bunts this year. But for the most part, the A's very, very low on the list of major league teams in terms of total number of bunts. They have tried to do it a couple times tonight, and frankly, it has not gone well. Bobby Crosby popped up last inning. Here's strike one to Hatteberg. And Hatteberg has had what for him is a rare 0-for night against the Rangers. Normally this guy is a very tough out. This evening 0-for-4. Squares again and bunts it. Well done. Schaus calmly gets it across to Eric Young. So the third sacrifice bunt for Scott Hatteberg this year. And Arubiel Durazo, who's had a big night, is coming up. And that, by the way, for the A's, only their 12th sacrifice all year. Their opponents have sacrificed 38 times.
The Rangers have to play the infield in right here. You have to cut this run off if you can.
Well, Durazo 1-for-8 lifetime against Schaus. 3 strikeouts. He'll take a strikeout right here. Instead of fly ball center field, Lance Nix going back. And Arubiel Durazo happy to have gotten that done. Play at third base, and scooting in there is Jermaine Dye.
Well, that's a nice at bat for Durazo. He just calmly stroked a 300-foot sacrifice fly to center field on a decent slider away. And so again, these left-handed hitters for the A's are not intimidated by left-handed pitching at all.
Buck Showalter's going to make a move now with a runner at third and a right-hand batter coming up. Yeah, Durazo just puts bat on ball. All of a sudden it goes to 7-5. So we'll come back, tell you about the new Ranger pitcher momentarily. The A's now lead by 2. Couple of leadoff doubles the last 2 innings. Durazo and then Chavez, couple of lefties. And they both come in to score. It's now 7-5 A's. And here's Frankie Francisco, Tom, 4.13 ERA.
Well, Frankie's come in frequently and thrown the ball 97 miles an hour. He needs to come in here and get an out. Rangers have given Dotel 2 runs to play with. You hate to make it 3. We'll see if Frankie can come in. He's going to face Bobby Crosby with Jermaine Dye at third base.
The Rangers in the bottom of the 9th will have the meat of the order up. Soriano, Teixeira, and Matthews. And you would think that Octavio Dotel is going to be coming on looking for a save. You had mentioned the A's, now that they're starting to win a bunch of games, as they always seem to do in the second half, in large measure, it's been games like this. They're close until late. They find a way to get a run or two late. The bullpen holds it late. Right here, if you're the Rangers, Frankie Francisco, you're just trying to make sure it stays 7-5. And give those bats a fighting chance in the bottom of inning 9. First one is strike 1. Seattle still leading Anaheim. It is 5-3 now at the end of 5. Vlad Guerrero, home run number 22 for Anaheim.
And the A's bullpen has only given up 3 earned runs in their last roughly 42 innings.
Wow.
That's how good they've been. So if it's a close game late, they have just shut down the other team's offense and just kind of waited, bided their time until they could get a base hit, score a run, and win a game. Did that the other day when Mark Kotsay pinch hit a game winner.
It would be unusual for the Rangers to lose a game involving the bullpens for that matter, too, because their bullpen has been great. Only 9 losses from the bullpen all season. This is game number 100. Of course, the bullpen was a pretty big problem at times last year. Last year, the bullpen was 24-26. This year, 21-9. Difference in ERA of about a run and a half, too. Look out. Bobby Crosby crumples at the plate. Trying to dust himself off very coolly. But that was a hello, how do you do from Frank Francisco.
Wow, that is close. And that'll make your life go in front of your eyes, right at the head. Thank goodness he got out of the way.
2-2 pitch. Got him.
That's a pretty tough combination right there.
You bet. Frankie Francisco hopefully has fired up the offense. They need 2 to tie, 3 to win when we come back. Texas Ranger Baseball brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Over 2,800 nonstop daily flights to 60 destinations all across the country. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Last chance for the Rangers, and they've got to face Octavio Dotel here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Dotel traded over from the Astros to be the Athletics closer. And lately, he's done a very good job with that. Trying to protect a 7-5 lead.
Yeah, he had a couple of shaky outings when he first joined the A's, but anything but that lately. He has struck out 8 of his last 11 batters faced and retired 23 of the last 24 batters he's faced. So you can't pitch a whole lot better than Dotel has been pitching. And the Rangers need a couple here to tie.
Soriano trying to set it up. The Rangers in danger of slipping out of first place. The A's looking for their 6th consecutive win. This crowd that started out at 31,000 plus. Some chased away by the rain. But those that have remained getting into it now. It goes to 2-0 on Soriano. In what has been an amazing season so far, the Rangers came in a half a game in front of Oakland. If they want to stay in front of Oakland, they've got to rally here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Well, and I tell you what, Soriano, who has always been known as a very impatient hitter, goes up there knowing the Rangers need runners. He takes 4 straight. Now he swings, and it's 3-2.
Swung at ball 4 too, I think. Borderline. You're 3-1. You need a base runner. You don't need a home run in that situation.
Soriano does have a home run tonight. At the time at which he swung in that at bat, he was 1 for his previous 25. But a home run and a single, 3 runs batted in tonight. Dotel gets him, 1 down.
I guess I'm a little old-fashioned. I've always felt when it's a 2-run ball game, pitcher throws 3 straight balls, no outs, 9th inning like that, throws the 3-0 pitch for a strike. I've always felt like you take another pitch, make him throw 5 straight strikes, 3 straight strikes. If it goes to 3-2, you still got another one left. And the 3-1 pitch to Alfonso was a borderline pitch. It might have been a ball.
Mark Teixeira loops it to left field. He is going to be on base. In fact, he's going to be on second base. Obviously no guarantee Tex would have seen the same pitch had Soriano been on. But man, a shame that Soriano wasn't able to rally in that previous at bat. It was Dotel who did the rallying. That 3-0 struck him out.
Good pitch, fastball on the outside corner. Tex just loops one in. That puts the tying run at the plate now with a couple of outs to go.
I'll tell you what, Gary Matthews Jr. has not hit the most home runs for the Rangers, but he has hit them late when they've mattered quite a bit. Had a game-winning 9th inning home run in Cleveland about 5 weeks ago. Eric Young on deck. Now Dotel to Matthews for strike 1. Again, the A's and the Rangers were tied at 5-5, but then 1 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th for Oakland. Two quick strikes. Line to foul into the crowd. Well, the Rangers have already left 9 on base in this game. They do have 5 runs on 10 hits, but remember, it was 5 runs on 7 hits through an inning and 2/3. The A's pitching is clamped down from there. Took it, strike 3 called. And now it's up to Eric Young.
Yeah, it looked like a good pitch. I mean, it's not an easy pitch to hit. He's throwing 97 miles an hour. Dotel comes right at you. He's not trying to trick anybody. He is a power strikeout pitcher. Got to get it tuned up when you face this guy.
Eric Young has only faced Dotel once in his career, and he walked. Right here swinging behind in the count, 0-1. We talked about it earlier. EY does not have a home run yet this year. Something you'd know if you logged on to TexasRangers.com, your source for Ranger news. All the stats, all the info. Should be a heck of a time for that first home run right here. Right field. Dye is after it, and he dives, and he does not get it. A run is in. EY stops at second. Do the Rangers have a miracle in them tonight? They have cut it to 7-6. DeLucci coming up.
Dye made a great try for this ball. Looked like EY hit a ball that was slicing away from him toward the line. Dye almost ended the game in a spectacular way, but EY is able to find a hole right down the line. Watch this try. It's slicing away from him. He can't get it. Now he's got the tying run at second base. And remember, Dotel has retired 23 out of 24 hitters, struck out 8 out of his last 11. The Rangers have a pretty nice rally going right here. And only one more out to go.
David DeLucci can tie it with a base hit. He can win it with a homer. Ken Mock is going to go to the mound. You've got terrific speed out there at second base. Those are older legs, but speedy legs that Eric Young has. David DeLucci has walked a couple of times in this game tonight. He has faced Dotel just 3 times, 0 for 3 in the past. Boy, and right now the difference in the game of all things, Tom, the A's ability to move a runner along, something they're not known for doing, but a sac bunt in the top of the inning, then a sac fly. Is that 1-run differential right now. Outside edge at 95, 1-1. Big rip. And a big fastball. 1-2 now. And 100 games into the season. What happens here determines who's in first place at the end of the night. Boy, tough pitch. 97 in on the hands. DeLucci not going away easily. A pair of doubles in the inning, slicing it down to 7-6. But that's their ball game.
They go from 97 to a good slider right at the knees. Tough pitch.
And a tough loss. The A's take it 7-6. They have hopscotch past the Rangers into first place by a half a game.
Boy, he makes a perfect pitch on him. I'm sure David thought it was a little low. Dotel thought it was a strike. So did Hunter Wendelstedt. He's the one that counted. He's the umpire.
The tying man withers at second base. Carlos Almanzar is the losing pitcher for just the second time in a game this year. The Oakland A's have come here to Arlington and they sneak away with a 7-6 win. And the Rangers will have the rookie Sam Narin on the mound tomorrow night. That'll be a huge, huge game. Rich Harden will oppose him. Let's go back to the first inning for our Whataburger What a Play. Kirk Saarloos did not last long in this game, but he did make one very nice defensive play, which saved what could have been a huge inning.
Yeah, this throw almost made it a big inning, and he throws it down the right field line, which there is the definite potential for that. Instead, he throws it on line, and Hatteberg scoops it to make a beautiful play.
Well, the Rangers answered the questions about where's the offense gone. They did that early, scoring 5 runs in the first 2 innings, but then the offense kind of went away for a while, and by the time it came back in the 9th, the Oakland A's had surged into the lead. They end up winning it 7-6. But Tom, the good news, you got 3 more games left in this series. Again, 7-6, the final tonight. For Tom Grieve, for Jim Knox, our entire crew, Josh Lewin saying goodnight from Arlington. Our next telecast is indeed tomorrow at 7 on FSN. The Rangers continue the series with the A's. Bill Land will be in the booth with Tom. Join us Sunday at 1 on KDFW Fox 4 for the finale of this series, by the way. Tonight's game was produced by Kurt Dykert, directed by Clay Armstrong, associate producers Kelly Donaldson and Tom Stoner. Again, the final tonight, Oakland 7, the Rangers 6. The Rangers now a half game out in the AL West. Stay tuned. Fox News Wrap coming up on KDFI 27.